Multiple worlds collecting cards from Naruto. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 201 Depressed Warring States. Marine Headquarters, Marineford. Marshal Sengoku's face was so gloomy that water was about to drip out of it because just now he was scolded by the 5 elders, the highest authority of the world government. The navy will become a joke now, and the initiator of all this is the damn 10,000 worlds pirates. The 3 admirals and the troops of the Demon Slayer Order attacked. Not only did they fail to bury the 10,000 worlds pirates on the sea, but they were defeated and returned, with more than half of the 10,000 navy soldiers killed or injured. Even the 5 vice admirals were injured, and 2 of them were seriously injured. Among the 3 admirals, only Kizaru had no problem. Aokiji was slightly injured, and Akainu was swallowed by the sea water and needed at least half a month to recover. And this was a blow to their navy, caused by a previously unknown pirate group. No one thought that the 10,000 worlds pirates would be so powerful, being able to leave safely with such a force, and also severely damaging the navy. This is simply the combat power of the 4 emperors. What is even more unbelievable is that there are people in the Bankei pirates who can control the seawater. When this news came back, Sengoku was shocked to the extreme. It was more surprising than hearing that the 3 admirals had failed in their mission, because he knew very well how much uproar the ability to control the seawater would cause in this world. Whether it is the navy or the pirates, they are inseparable from the sea, and once the other side has a person who can control the seawater, it is basically equivalent to occupying the absolute initiative on the sea. Never underestimate the power of the sea. In Roger's generation, legendary pirates as strong as Golden Lion forced Roger's pirate group into a desperate situation. In the end, because of the sudden storm, most of the fleet of Golden Lion's flying pirates was driven into the seabed. If it weren't for that storm, there might not be the later pirate king Goldie Roger. Even a powerful existence like Golden Lion could not resist the power of the sea. It can be seen from this that a person with the ability to control the seawater is a great threat, whether it is to the navy or to the pirates. Sengoku, the so-called Jiraiya, must have limited abilities, otherwise it would not be as simple as more than half of the troops being killed or injured, but the entire army would be annihilated. Vice Admiral Churu looked at Marshal Sengoku with a worried look on his face and said rationally, "Indeed, if Jiraiya could control the seawater without limit, then Akainu and his men would definitely be buried in the sea. Moreover, the navy does not need to think about how to deal with such an existence. An existence that completely controls the seawater is definitely more terrifying than ancient weapons. Even if it is limited, such an ability is too dangerous." Sengoku also knew that this ability could not be unlimited, but the opponent could destroy the army of the Demon Slayer Order by himself. Even if it was limited, it was already terrifyingly powerful. And who could catch them when they controlled the ocean currents? To put it bluntly, after the tsunami fell and Jiraiya's ninjutsu broke out, the navy actually still had the strength to fight. After all, Aokiji and Kizaru were not injured, but they could not catch up with the ship of the 10,000 worlds that left with the help of the ocean currents. Sengoku, you should think calmly. What we should really care about is not the opponent's ability to control the seawater, but the source of that ability. According to the information sent back by Aokiji and the others, the opponent can not only control the seawater, but also being in the sea does not affect the use of his ability at all. This also proves one thing. A cold light flashed in Vice Admiral Chiru's eyes, and he said in a deep voice, "The opponent's ability does not come from the devil fruit. If we make an inference from this point, we can draw a conclusion. The abilities of the people in the Bankei pirates were obtained through methods we don't understand. They collected devil fruits, proving that their abilities were related to devil fruits, but they did not eat devil fruits." Hearing this, Sengoku stood up suddenly, and his face changed several times in a row. In other words, it is possible that they have discovered another way to use the devil fruit, and that method can enable people to gain special abilities and avoid being abandoned by the sea. If this is true, then the Bankei pirates are too terrifying. No, we must keep the Bankei pirates and never let them enter the new world. Regardless of whether they have mastered the special use of devil fruits, as long as there is such a possibility, we must control it in our own hands. Marshal Sengoku became serious at this moment, and then immediately made a decision. Gather troops immediately. If they want to go to the new world, they must be coated in the Sabaody archipelago, and we will stop the Bankei pirates there. Let that guy Garp roll back from the East China Sea immediately, and then call Zephyr as well. There can be no accidents this time. I will also attack in person. Hearing this, Vice Admiral Chiru's face changed slightly, and then said, if this happens, there will be no one guarding Marineford. Even if the headquarters may be attacked, the Bankei pirates must be stopped. Somewhere on the sea, the Bankei ship was sailing safely with the help of the ocean current. With the existence of Jiraiya, they are much easier on the sea than before. At least they have the help of water escape. Although there is no Sage mode, Jiraiya's water escape is not weak. It's funny to say that Jiraiya's most powerful skill is not water escape, but after coming to this world, water escape seems to have become the most useful ninjutsu. Kushina's sealing technique, Hong's illusion technique, and Kei's physical technique are not as useful as Jiraiya's water escape. It is because Kakashi does not know the Sage mode that the power of his ninjutsu cannot be compared with the natural system, and he will be exactly the same as Jiraiya. Even so, Kakashi is now very keen on water escape, and has been practicing water escape in addition to swordsmanship. Morning Sky, are we going to the Sabaody archipelago now? Excuse me, the Navy will never give up, because of a failure. They are likely to intercept us in Sabaody, and once they do so, the combat power we will face will be more terrifying than before outside the 7 water cities. Jiraiya walked to the side of Morning Sky at this time, and said with a serious face, it's not a possibility, it's a certainty. The Navy is so embarrassed now, how could they let us go to the new world? If we pass through the shampoo coating and go to the new world, we will have to face the current Navy Marshal Buddha Sengoku and the Navy hero Garp in addition to the 3 admirals we met before. Even with you, we will hardly have any chance of winning against those guys of the older generation. Although the topic was heavy, there was no worry on Chen Tian's face, as if he didn't care what kind of troops the Navy would gather. Then how should we respond? Jiraiya asked. No need to respond, just let them wait for us in shampoo. By the time they react, we will have arrived in the new world. Chapter 202 Shocking the World. The ship of a world sailed safely on the sea. Chen Tian and his men did not choose to go to the Sabaody archipelago for coating. Anyway, Jiraiya controlled the sea water, so they chose to go around directly and go to the new world through the calm belt. Isn't it good? With Jiraiya's ninjutsu to control the ocean current, there is no need to worry about the problem of no sailing power in the calm belt. Even if Jiraiya's chakra is insufficient, isn't there Kakashi who can come up to emergency? Although the power of ninjutsu is not that great, and Kakashi majored in swordsmanship because of Chen Tian, a few small water escape ninjutsu are still possible. As for those sea kings, unless they are some super large sea kings, or there are extremely many of them, otherwise, with these people here, do we still need to worry about any sea kings? Not to mention Chen Tian, even Jiraiya, Kushina, Minato, Kakashi and my guy, who can't beat a sea king? As for the Navy that was on high alert near the Sabaody archipelago, setting up a net to deal with Chen Tian and his men, let them just wait, because they will get nothing in the end anyway. This is really interesting. The 3 admirals plus the troops of the Demon's Lair Order can't get rid of the 10,000 world's pirates. Hehe. In other words, the guy who stole my devil fruit before has grown into an existence second only to the 4 emperors in a short period of time. Doflamingo's eyes changed greatly when he received the news from the Dark World. Before the Sabaody archipelago, the 10,000 world's pirates escaped from the hands of 2 admirals, which was already surprising. Even he had to face Chen Tian, who had robbed him of several devil fruits. But now, after receiving the news from the Dark World, he realized that he had underestimated Chen Tian before. If there is a coincidence in the Sabaody archipelago incident, and in the end the 10,000 world's pirates were defeated by the admirals and escaped, then the battle in the 7 water capitals could not be hidden from anyone. More than half of the troops of the Demon Slayer Order were injured in front of the 10,000 Worlds pirates, and half of the 5 marine headquarters were seriously injured. Even among the 3 admirals, Akainu was seriously injured. Such strength is enough to make the reputation of the 10,000 Worlds pirates resound throughout the world. What's more important is the ability to control the seawater. Hehe, that is the ability that countless people dream of. The emergence of this ability is enough to change the pattern of this world. Is the era of heroes coming so soon? Demon Seed Chen Tian is really an unexpected guy. Doflamingo opened his hands and laughed loudly. He really hopes to see earth-shaking changes in this sea, and he can now clearly sense that the 10,000 Worlds pirates will definitely bring changes to this sea. When they come to the new world, they may overturn the entire sea. Although he doesn't know why these people can control the seawater, the thing called ninjutsu is beyond his imagination, but this is not a problem. Dover, I still don't believe the authenticity of this information. Is it really possible to control the seawater? Treble said in disbelief as he stood aside. He himself was also a devil fruit user and had no resistance to seawater. If there was really a devil fruit user who could control seawater, he would definitely be the nemesis of all devil fruit users. It's no longer possible, Treble. Doflamingo looked at his family and then said slowly, this ability is now in front of us. Although Morgans often makes some confusing news, he basically won't do false things. For his own reputation and interests, this matter is very true, and it won't be long before Morgans will spread this matter all over the world. If it spreads throughout the world, the Bank of the World's pirates will be targeted by all major forces. Whether it is the 4 emperors, the navy, or the world government, there is no party that does not want to control the owner of this ability in their own hands. Treble immediately thought of this, and then said solemnly, Dov, the first person to find the Bank of the World's pirates should be Big Mom. It has to be said that this big snot monster is still relatively smart, otherwise he would not act as a military advisor beside Doflamingo. His judgment was based on facts. Chen Tian had offended the Big Mom pirates a long time ago. That crazy woman would not let Chen Tian off easily. Now that Chen Tian's statement will spread throughout the world with the news, the person who cares about him the most should be Big Mom. Chen Tian has grown to this point. As long as he is attached to the Big Mom pirates, Big Mom can completely forgive him. The demon species Chen Tian will never be attached to Big Mom. If he does so, he will not have such great achievements. That's right. That kid will not be inferior to anyone. Wait and see, Treble. He will set off a wave called the Times on this sea. Doflamingo laughed his cold laugh again. He was looking forward to what would happen after the Bank of the World's pirates came to the new world. In the calm belt, on the deck of the Bank of the World ship. Brother Chen Tian, the news is here. Nami took the newspaper she had just bought from the newsbird and walked to the side of Chen Tian who was basking in the sun. Well, it should be about the 7 water cities. I guess there's nothing worth paying attention to. Read it to me. Chen Tian lay on the chair, and he rarely even opened his eyes. He felt that this kind of leisurely life was still very good. After nodding, Nami opened the newspaper and read, the 5th emperor who is about to go to the new world, the 10,000 Worlds pirates of the Demon Sea Chen Tian. What? In an instant, Chen Tian, who was still enjoying the sunshine, sat up and took the newspaper. He looked closely and found the most obvious line of big words. There was no difference between what was written on it and what Nami read. If it was just a simple story about the Battle of the 7 Water Cities, Chen Tian would think it was nothing, but this title was a bit problematic. Now the 4 emperors of the new world have finally settled down, and at this time, the damn birdman Morgans, who put himself on the throne of the emperor, would bring himself a lot of enemies. In addition to some idiots who don't know their own limitations, even the 4 emperors will be hostile to him. Because the area of the new world is so small, after being divided up by the 4 emperors, what will be left for him? And if he wants to become the 5th emperor, it will affect the interests of the pirates in the new world itself, and even the interests of the 4 emperors. This does pose a problem for me, but it's nothing. Since I have been made the 5th emperor, it's just right for me to see who is stronger between the pirates in the new world and me, and the Bankai pirates. As he spoke, a cold light flashed in Chen Tian's eyes, and the corners of his mouth rose. But isn't the 5 emperors a bit too much? The title of the Four Emperors sounds better. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203 Arrival in the New World. As expected, once the news about Morgan spread, the whole world was in an uproar. The record of the Bank of the World's pirates was too dazzling, shocking countless people. The release of the news about Morgans also caught the Navy off guard. Marshal Sengoku originally planned to wait for Chen Tian and others to die in the Sabaody archipelago, so he did not increase his bounty. However, since the news had spread, it would be unreasonable not to increase the bounty. Then, after a brief discussion, the bounty of the Bank of the World's pirates once again increased by leaps and bounds. The captain of the Bank of the World's pirates, the lord of the Bank of the Night, the demon sea Chen Tian, has a bounty of 2 billion baileys. The combatant of the Bank of the World's pirates, the toad sage Jiraiya, has a bounty of 1.3 billion baileys. The bounties of King Su, Nami, Yui, and Belmare remained unchanged. After all, the bounties of the four of them were not low, and in the Battle of the Seven Water Cities, they did not show a stronger strength than in the Sabaody archipelago. The bounty of the Bankei pirates, nine-tailed Kushina, is 1 billion berries. The bounty of the Bankei pirates, Golden Flash Minato Namikaze, is 1.1 billion berries. Next is the Bankei pirates, Might Guy, with a bounty of 700 million berries. The Bankei pirates, White Fang Hatake Kakashi, has a bounty of 710 million berries. The bounties of Yuhikuni, Nezuko, and Nami range from 120 million to 240 million. Now, the total bounty of the Bankei pirates is over 6 billion berries, even close to 7 billion berries. In the New World, only the bounties of the Four Emperors pirates are higher than them. The reason why Marshal Sengoku set the bounty like this is that in addition to Chen Tian and his team's own strong strength, there is also a little bit of flattery in it. Moreover, once the Bankei pirates with such a high bounty are wiped out near the Sabaody archipelago, the Navy can also recover the prestige that was lost before. TSK, why is my bounty 10 million lower than Kakashi's? Do those bastards in the Marine headquarters have an eye? How am I weaker than this guy? Might Guy looked at his bounty, then pointed at Kakashi standing on the other side, and couldn't help but complain. As a lifelong rival, how could Guy accept such a thing? Logically speaking, during the Battle of the Seven Water Cities, he was fighting against Aokiji Kyuzan, one of the three admirals of the Navy, and Kakashi was just assisting him. Judging from the enemies they both fought, his bounty should be higher anyway. But in the new bounty order of the Marine headquarters, Kakashi's bounty is 10 million berries higher than his. If Jiraiya, Minato and Kushina's bounties are higher than his, he would accept it, but Kakashi's is higher than his. This is unacceptable. Besides, why is it that only that guy has a title, and we are just simple fighters? Captain K looked at Chen Tian with a depressed face. He was obviously very concerned about this title and the bounty. He was a proud blue beast. Why didn't he write his nickname? Captain, although what this guy said didn't make any sense, there is one thing that you need to arrange. We have more people now, and there should be divisions in all aspects. Kakashi also came over at this time and said with a serious face. He thought about it for a long time, so he raised this point. Of course, what he said does make sense. The current Wanji pirates are all fighters, and everyone has no position of their own. Look at other big pirate groups, such as the Whitebeard pirates, which have established squads and captains. The big mob pirates have generals and ministers, and the idiot-like beasts pirates have three major signs, etc. They are about to enter the new world, so naturally they also need to make corresponding arrangements. After thinking for a long time, Chen Tian said seriously, Kakashi is right. It's time to divide the internal world. From now on, Kakashi will be the leader of the swordsmanship team, and those who play with swords like Belmare will belong to Kakashi's team. Yes, sir. The people whose names were called all agreed. They respected Chen Tian very much, so they would naturally choose to obey Chen Tian's arrangements. Jiraiya will be the leader of the ninjutsu team. Kushina and Namikaze Minato will belong to the ninjutsu team. Might Guy will temporarily serve as the leader of the physical skills team, and Kingsu and Yui will belong to the physical skills team. Robin will temporarily serve as the leader of the fruit team, and you are the only one for now. Red will temporarily serve as the leader of the illusion team, and you are also the only one for now. In addition to the above, we will make arrangements when other people arrive in the future. Chen Tian set up 5 large groups in the 10,000 worlds in one breath, and each large group had its own leader. In fact, these establishments were equivalent to the squads and captains of the Whitebird pirates. However, among the 5 groups, except for Jiraiya and Kakashi who are the official leaders, the others are acting as leaders, because there will be people who are more suitable and stronger than them in the future. For example, the leader of the illusion group, the one that Chen Tian has in mind, is also the guy that Han will definitely recognize, but no one knows when he can be summoned. If you are lucky, the next one may let that guy come out. If you are unlucky, the next few summons may appear as ordinary extras, such as Shen Yu Chu Yun, Gangziti, etc. Then, the next is the ceremony. Although we have been a family for a long time, the ceremony should still be performed once. As he said, Chen Tian sat directly on the deck, and then took out a huge wine bowl full of fine wine from somewhere. Seeing this scene, Kakashi and others all sat down and drank wine with Chen Tian one after another, proving that they are the Bankai under Chen Tian's command, and will never abandon Chen Tian, and will never do anything to let down the Bankai pirates. After the last person and Chen Tian finished drinking, a voice came over. Brother Chen Tian, we have arrived in the new world. Are we there so soon? Hahaha, where are we now? Chen Tian smiled, then stood up and asked. It's relatively close to the territory of Wanjiuo. Kingsu took out the sea chart and looked at it and gave a rough answer. Although Nami has a good talent for sailing, she is too young now and is not very suitable, so Kingsu has always been in charge. And Nami is now the financial manager of the Wanji pirates, and she is very happy every day. Hearing this, Chen Tian's eyes condensed instantly, and then he said in a deep voice, in this case, let's be good neighbors with Wanjiuo, and find an island suitable as our base to settle down first. Chapter 204 Doflamingo's Cooperation. New World, Wanji Island. In fact, this island was not called this name before, but after Chen Tian and his Wanji pirates arrived here 3 days ago, they easily got rid of the people who originally occupied this island, and then changed its name to this name. This island is also the first island they decided to take after careful selection. The reason for choosing this island is because it has development potential. This Wanji island is rich in special scented powder, which is very popular among women. It is by selling cosmetics made from these scented powders that the islanders can live very well. Otherwise, it is said that the money of women and children is the easiest to make. The scented powder cosmetics here are sold outside. Although the price is high, there will still be a group of people scrambling for them, especially some noble women who are willing to spend a lot of money to buy them. With such an economic source, the Wanji pirates will also develop better. Although for Chen Tian, the best way to develop the Wanji pirates is to collect more devil fruits. But to collect devil fruits, Bailey is indispensable. During these 3 days, Chen Tian also built a mansion on a mountain in Wanji Island. This mansion is exactly the same as Chen Tian's mansion in the Naruto world. In this mansion, Chen Tian sat cross-legged with a long sword on his knees, meditating and comprehending the way of the sword. There is a specific rhythm between each breath. He wants to comprehend the realm above the great swordsman. Although he has no clue yet, it does not affect his efforts at all. Others don't know, but he knows that in other worlds, there are many people who can destroy mountains and rivers with one sword. Captain, a woman named Monad wants to see the captain. At this time, Robin's voice came from outside the room. After the 5 major groups were divided, although Robin was classified as the fruit group, she was responsible for Chen Tian's guard work. In addition to Robin, Nami, Najiko and Han are also Chen Tian's guards. Well, the main reason is that these people are a little weak and need to be trained. Monat? Chen Tian slowly opened his eyes with a little doubt on his face and asked slowly, is it a woman with green hair? Yes, her hair is indeed green. Robin answered without hesitation. What could it be? That Doflamingo's men came to see me. Chen Tian thought for a while and stood up. Take her to the study later. I will be there soon. No matter what she came for, we have to meet her. You know, Doflamingo is a smart man, and we owe him a favor. Got it. I'll do it right away. Robin nodded and turned to find Monet. Soon, Monet was taken to the study to wait. She looked indifferent, as if she didn't care about anything, and she didn't worry about her current situation at all. You know, she is now in the heart of the Wanji pirates, Chen Tian's residence. With the current strength of the Bankai pirates, even if they killed her here, Doflamingo would have no way to stop them, because the fist of Shiniyasha is not as big as the fist of the Bankai pirates. Monet, Doflamingo's capable subordinate, the user of the natural system snow fruit. After a while, Chen Tian walked into the study and said lightly, "Your news is really fast. I have only been in the new world for 3 days, and you have come here. In other words, you have news about me almost on the first day I arrived in the new world." Monet turned his head and looked at Chen Tian, who came in. Now Chen Tian has restored his purple hair, so he is exactly the same as the one on the wanted poster, and looks quite handsome. After looking at Chen Tian for a while, she replied, "The intelligence personnel in the dark world are very good. Even in the doldrums, the newsbird can deliver newspapers to you, right?" Hearing this, Chen Tian also reacted. The newsbird of Morgan's, the birdman, can almost be said to be everywhere, otherwise he would not be able to collect so much news. If the trace was discovered by the newsbird, then it would not be surprising that Doflamingo, as the middleman of the dark world, knew where he was at the first time. Well, then what does Doflamingo want you to come for? If he wants to get back the place in the Sabayodi archipelago, then I will accompany you to the end. Chen Tian opened his mouth to show his power. He is not one of those small pirates. The title of Doflamingo Shichibuke can't scare him. The previous one was just a small matter. Just a few devil fruits, just treated as our Don Quixote family's gift to the Wanji pirates. Monet's expression did not change at all, because of Chen Tian's words. She looked at Chen Tian, and said with a smile, "The young master asked me to come here, mainly to tell Captain Chen Tian 2 things. First, you owe us a favor for the previous matter. Second, if you still need devil fruits, the Don Quixote family can provide some help. It's true that someone sent a pillow when you are sleepy." Chen Tian was trying to get a devil fruit, and Doflamingo asked Monet to come. As for the favor the other party mentioned, that was just what the other party said. If necessary, Chen Tian could give Shiniyasha a face and return a favor. If not necessary, the favor would just be there to give the other party an excuse. In other words, Doflamingo intends to cooperate with me? Interesting. Chen Tian didn't have any idea of beating around the bush and said directly, "To tell you the truth, I do need a lot of devil fruits, and I can choose to cooperate with Doflamingo, but isn't he worried about offending the 10,000 nations? Don't forget, I'm a wanted criminal in the 10,000 nations, and this 10,000 worlds island is not far from the 10,000 nations. Maybe in a few days, I will fall under the blade of the Big Mom pirates. It's just a cooperation. Even the 4 emperors Big Mom will not vent her anger on our Don Quixote family because of this little thing. Secondly, how could the 10,000 worlds pirates, who can fight against the 3 admirals and the troops of the Demon Slayer Order, fall easily to the hands of the Big Mom pirates?" Monet smiled. When she said this, she seemed to be more confident than Chen Tian. After a long silence, Chen Tian made a decision and said to Monet, "Of course there is no problem with cooperation. I will not give you less than a cent of Bailey. But since we want to cooperate, we must be sincere. Go back and ask Doflamingo to send 9 devil fruits first. If he agrees, then we can cooperate well." Chapter 205, The Charlotte Family. Monet left. She will bring Chen Tian's words to Doflamingo. As for what the final result will be, it depends on what decision Shiniyasha makes. If it was when he just came to this world, Chen Tian would not have the qualifications to negotiate with Shiniyasha, but it is different now. It is no exaggeration to say that the strength of the Wanji pirates is far better than that of the Don Quixote family. Chen Tian needs the devil fruit very much. If Doflamingo agrees to the conditions he just proposed, then he can indeed reach an alliance with the other party. Without saying too much, once the alliance is reached, if Doflamingo does not betray the alliance, Chen Tian will lend a helping hand to him to some extent. Even if he meets the protagonist group in the future, Chen will not sit idly by. Maybe Doflamingo is not a good person, but what does this have to do with Chen? He is not a compassionate saint who sympathizes with the world. Those things in Dressrosa have nothing to do with him. On the contrary, he thinks Doflamingo is a hero he recognizes. Doflamingo has found me, so are the Navy furious now? But it doesn't matter, I'm happy that they are angry. Chen Tian sat in his mansion, watching the fish swimming in the small pond, and then said with a smile. The fact is just as he said, the Navy is indeed furious, especially Marshal Sengoku and Akainu, both want to smash the table. The latter has already smashed the table in his office. After all, he waited for so long in the Sabaody archipelago, laying a net, but in the end he waited in vain. Whoever falls on this head will be depressed. Captain, someone is visiting again. This time the person is the Big Mom pirates. Robin walked slowly to not far behind Chen Tian, and then reported. Now Kushina is already on the verge of a fight with the other party. When Chen Tian heard the first sentence, he knew that it was someone from the Charlotte family, and was about to get up and go to the tea room to meet this member of the Four Emperors Pirates. Then he heard the last sentence. Is it already on the verge of a fight? Don't move too fast. Okay. Take her to the tea room. I'll wait here. After all, she is one of the overlords of the new world, so I can't be too much. But her coming this time is not just a good thing. Chen Tian stood up and said to Robin in front of him, after taking her to the tea room, go and inform Jiraiya, Minato, Kakashi and my guy, and tell them to be ready to fight at any time. The opponent's strength will never be weaker than the Navy fleet we encountered before. It may even be stronger. In an instant, Robin's face became solemn. The Navy fleet encountered in the Seven Water City was already very strong. If it weren't for Jiraiya's appearance at the end and the battlefield was on the sea, they would have a great chance of being defeated. But now, their captain actually said that they might face a stronger enemy than the Navy outside the Seven Water City at that time. Yes, Captain. After responding, Robin turned around immediately. She was very efficient in doing things. As long as it was Chen Tian's order, she would execute it as soon as possible. Because of the arrival of people from the Naruto world, both sides consciously or unconsciously compared, and now no one treated Chen Tian as casually as before. The reason why Jiraiya, Kakashi, Minato and Might Guy are ruled is because the four of them are the combat power of the Wanji pirates, and they are the top group of people besides Chen Tian. After Robin left, Chen Tian's eyes became more solemn, and he said to himself in a deep voice, so, it's a woman who came. It should be Smoothie, right? After all, with my current strength, that crazy woman will also let the corresponding general come. After all, I have read some comics and know some people, so Chen Tian has some guesses. After talking to himself, he walked directly towards the tea room. He also wanted to see what the crazy woman wanted to do. Now their Wanji Island is not far from Wango, and going to war is not what Chen Tian wants to happen. He knows very well that there will be a big war between him and the Charlotte family and that crazy woman, but it is definitely not now. It's a bit too early to fight against Big Mom, one of the four emperors. Not long after, Robin brought Charlotte Smoothie to the tea room. She was very tall, much taller than an ordinary person. She wore a hat, a scarf, and had white hair that reached her legs. She wore gloves on both hands, had long leg tattoos on her legs, carried a long sword with a spiral scabbard behind her, and wore a pair of pink boots with patterns. It must be said that among the group of crooked daughters of the aunt, Smoothie was a real beauty, but her figure was a little too tall. With her figure, Chen Tian's tea room seemed a little small. Smoothie, the fourth star of the dessert, has long heard of your name. Sit down and have tea. Although Chen Tian's tone was gentle, he naturally had a kingly feeling. Even when facing Charlotte Smoothie, he was a little condescending. However, Smoothie didn't care much about this. Perhaps, in her eyes, although Chen Tian was not as good as Big Mom, he was stronger than her and had the qualifications. After sitting down in the tea house, Smoothie's long legs were obviously a bit out of place. This is the innate advantage of the long-legged people, which most people can't envy. But to be honest, her legs are too long, too long. Because of the confidence of the Four Emperors pirate group, even when facing Chen Tian, Smoothie was very relaxed, just like at home. I have heard of your name for a long time. I didn't expect that the little pirate who was wanted by all nations has grown to this point now. Smoothie finally found a comfortable sitting position, then raised her head, looked at Chen Tian and said slowly, "No one would have thought that in just 10 years you have grown to the current point, and even the 3 admirals of the navy can't catch you. Although most of the news is a credit of your subordinates, your own strength should not be weaker than our desert star, and it is only slightly worse than Katakuri. Chen Tian's current strength is definitely at the level of desert star, or even stronger, but Smoothie underestimated him. If he faced Katakuri, he would be sure to win. The only thing that is difficult for Katakuri is his top-notch observation haki, but it is useless in the face of absolute strength." Chen Tian smiled, then drank the tea in the cup, and when he put it down, there was a slight sound, and then he said, "Let's put aside the reminiscence for now, let's talk about business. 4 Emperors, what does Big Mom want you to do here?" Chapter 206 Tea Party Invitation. Smoothie would never come to him for no reason, because he was a wanted criminal of the Big Mom pirates. If Smoothie came here as an individual, he would definitely be punished by the crazy woman Big Mom. Chen Tian knew this very well. After all, he had read a lot of comics, and was very familiar with the Charlotte family. It was a family with almost no family affection. As for the people in that family, the only ones he could remember were those who performed well in the comics, such as Katakuri, Smoothie, Snarman, and Pudding. In total, there were less than 10 people. Therefore, it must be Big Mom's decision for Smoothie to come here. The old woman has set her sights on him. After a moment of silence, Smoothie slowly spoke, "Mom wants you to surrender. She said that, as long as you surrender to the Big Mom pirates, then what happened before can be forgiven, and she can also give you the position of Desert Star. Now all the pirates under your command are under your management. This condition is not bad. The Desert Star in the Big Mom pirates can be said to be second only to Big Mom herself, not to mention that it allows Chen Tian to manage the pirates under his command. Unfortunately, this condition has no appeal to Chen Tian. Let him surrender to others and work like a slave for them? What a joke. Smoothie, do you think this is possible?" Chen Tian smiled, and he smiled slightly while speaking, as sunny as usual. "By the way, what did Morgans call me in the news some time ago? The 5th Emperor, right? The 4 Emperors of the New World have ruled the second half of the Grand Line. If a 5th Emperor appears, how will the world change?" Hearing this, Smoothie's face changed instantly, and her expression became serious. "You should know that you are not your mother's opponent, and the Bankai pirates will not be our opponent. This is not a wise choice, Chen Tian. She does not want to go to war with others at will, but if it is unavoidable, she will choose to fight as the Desert Star of the Big Mom pirates. At the beginning, the Navy also thought that I could not be their opponent, but the final result was somewhat different. I won't say that I defeated the 3 admirals, but at least the 3 admirals couldn't do anything to me, right?" Chen Tian stood up, walked to Smoothie's side, looked at his long-legged woman, and said slowly, "By the same token, I'm not sure if I'm Big O's opponent. But, want me to surrender? No one can do it. As early as the Naruto world, he had already reached the peak. Even if he is not as strong as he was then, he is not something that a crazy woman can bully. And based on Big Mom's strength, to be honest, it is not even 1% of his strongest period. I really don't know what this crazy woman is thinking." Moreover, in Chen Tian's eyes, although the 10,000 kingdoms looks prosperous and there are delicacies everywhere, it is actually no different from hell, because everyone there has to fear one person, the 4 emperors. Charlotte Linlin, a family maintained by blood relations, but there is no real family affection. Even if it really belongs to a certain force, it will definitely not be the Big Mom pirates. Among the 4 emperors, the one Chen Tian hates the most is the Big Mom pirates. Compared with the Whitebeard pirates, these people who are really related by blood are just a bunch of shit. Among them, there are only a few people who can barely look past them, including Smoothie. But what Smoothie said is not wrong. The number of people in the Bankai pirates is still too small, and even the strength is not enough. Unless Jiraiya prepares the fairy technique and then fights on the sea, there will be a chance of victory. People like Robin, Kingsu and Yui, if they really face the Big Mom pirates, they will be cannon fodder at most. Only Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya and Kakashi might die, can confront them head on, and the others are a little worse. All these reasons add up to a conclusion. Now is not the time to go to war with the Big Mom pirates. Smoothie also stood up at this time, and she looked at the handsome man in front of her. She had such a premonition long before she came, and now it is exactly what she thought. How could someone who could lead his subordinates to fight against the Navy not have his own beliefs? But she didn't expect Chen Tian to be so tough, not polite at all, and not afraid of the power of the four emperors. Since you have given the answer, my mission is completed. After saying this, Smoothie put an invitation on the tea table in front of her, and then stood up to leave. I have brought my mother's matter. It's up to you to decide. There will be a tea party for my mother in a month. Make your final decision then. Don't you want to stay for dinner? Chen Tian said with a smile. Since arriving at Wanji Island, Smoothie's attitude has always been good, and Chen Tian has a good impression of her. No, if you want to eat, wait until the tea party. I hope I can have a good meal then. After saying this, Smoothie left directly. Chen Tian stood there, smiled and shook his head, then was stunned again, and muttered to himself in a depressed tone, I'm underestimated. Big Mom didn't even show up in person, as if to make me surrender? Since we have to eat, then we should go to the tea party in a month. It's just right for us to really face the so-called four emperors. In an instant, a cold light flashed in Chen Tian's eyes. He did plan to go to the tea party, but he was not going to surrender to the Charlotte family, but to see that crazy woman. Moreover, he didn't plan to go alone. If things went well in this month, the entire Wanji pirate group would go together. He didn't come to the new world to recuperate, especially since Wanji Island was so close to Wanji-Uo. If he didn't show his fangs, he might become a bully in the eyes of others. Originally, Chen Tian planned to find some big pirates in the new world to establish his prestige, and at the same time, he could see if he could snatch some devil fruits and barley from those big pirates. But now that one of the four emperors has come to him, there is no need for him to look for other pirates. What better way to establish his authority than to confront one of the four emperors directly? Chapter 207 The Joker Sincerity. 7 days had passed since Smoothie left. No one had come to see Chen Tian during these 7 days, so the Wanji Island had entered a period of stable development. Of course, the main people who dealt with things were Robin, Schumann, Kingsu and some of the natives on the island. Chen Tian was happy to be free. He drank tea and raised fish at home every day. He had no sense of crisis at all. He didn't look like someone who would go to the aunt's tea party in half a month. Brother Chen Tian. Just when Chen Tian had just left the state of comprehending the sword and was about to go out to stretch his muscles, a familiar voice reached his ears. Then, Robin's figure appeared and ran into his arms. Yeah, it turns out that Chen Tian's arms are the most comfortable. If I didn't have something to do, I wouldn't want to leave. Robin rubbed against Chen Tian's arms, looking very happy. Chen Tian smiled when he saw this, then reached out and touched Robin's head, then said slowly, why did you suddenly think of coming to me? I remember that you usually don't come when I'm comprehending the way of the sword. Can't it be that you miss brother Chen Tian too much? Robin raised her head, puffed her lips, and said with a dissatisfied look. But soon, she returned to normal, and then talked about business. Okay, it was Senior Minato who asked me to come and inform you. Of course, I really miss you. Minato asked you to come and inform me. Did something happen? Chen Tian frowned slightly. Minato generally wouldn't look for him, unless there was something, and when he was comprehending the way of the sword, Minato wouldn't let anyone come to disturb him, unless there was something important. The last time he came was because Doflamingo asked someone to come and see him, which was considered an important matter. Then Robin spoke up. Senior Minato said that the guy named Doflamingo had someone send us devil fruits. And it's not 9 as mentioned before, but 10. Doflamingo sent someone to tell us that he hopes to make friends with us, and as for the previous devil fruits, we don't have to pay for them. Tenyasha is quite a good person. Does he want to bet on me? Chen Tian raised his eyebrows and said, but it's not a loss for him. 10 devil fruits are not a large number, and he just wants to use these devil fruits in exchange for our friendship. And because of the location of Bankei Island, we will sooner or later have to confront Bankei. If we win, it means he has a new 4 emperors as an ally. If we lose, he will only lose 10 devil fruits. Then what should we do? Brother Chen Tian, to be honest, although the 10,000 Worlds Island has special incense powder as a resource, this place is a little small for the 10,000 worlds. In my opinion, Senior Jiraiya, Sister Kushina, Kakashi might die, and Senior Minato are all strong people who can guard one side alone. Robin's face became serious at this time, and he carefully analyzed the current situation. With more and more 10,000 worlds in the future, the resources of this island will definitely not be enough, so Senior Minato was also thinking about whether to include the 2 neighboring islands into our sphere of influence not long ago. Although we are few in number, we also need to live. After all, they are now in the world of pirates, and as the ruler of the island, those ordinary islanders also need their attention. Chen Tian wants to be a king, not an insatiable fool. So their territory must be developed. One 10,000 worlds island obviously cannot satisfy Chen Tian and his 10,000 worlds pirates. Expansion is necessary, but not now. Because there is no point in expanding now. The tea party in more than 20 days is a hurdle. After crossing it, the 10,000 worlds pirates can continue to expand their sphere of influence. If they can't cross that hurdle, there will be no 10,000 worlds in the future. If they can't cross it, they will definitely be destroyed by the Big Mom pirates. Let Nami send all the devil fruits to the study. This is very important for us. Then tell Minato not to rush to expand the territory. Prepare for the next big battle first. After overcoming the difficulties, no one can stop our expansion. Chen Tian made a decision immediately. Doflamingo wanted to bet on him, so let him bet. Besides, how could the devil fruit that has been delivered to the door be sent back? I know, I will notify the order immediately. As soon as the voice fell, Robin immediately turned and walked outside, while Chen Tian walked directly to the study. It is still very important to recharge the devil fruit this time. I wonder who the system will send over? It would be great if it was a strong man like Orochimaru. The only pity is that the system can only extract those who are related to him, and the price is that he can never go back to the Naruto world. If the system hadn't promised to summon those who are related to him, Chen Tian would not have agreed. But this is also good for the system. It can recycle the previous power and become stronger, so Chen Tian agreed. Dressrosa, the palace. It has been delivered, right? That's enough. You did a great job, Diamond. Come back directly. We also have to prepare for the next step. After saying that, Doflamingo put down the Den Mushi in his hand. At this moment, in front of him, all the senior officers of the Don Quixote family, except Virgo who was undercover in the navy, gathered here. Hehe, the Wanji pirates are now considered half of our allies. Although I have more confidence in them, they have to face a 4 emperor after all, so whether they can become our true allies depends on the tea party later. As the boss of the dark world, Doflamingo naturally knew about the tea party, and he was also invited by Big Mom. Dover, what should we do now? Treble asked at this time. For such a big matter, Doflamingo still needed to make the decision himself. You don't have to do anything, just wait. I will also attend Big Mom's tea party this time. When I get there, I will see with my own eyes what choice Demon Dawn will make. However, even now, I have almost guessed it. Doflamingo grinned, with confidence on his face, as if everything was under his control. He will never submit to the 4 emperors. Although I have never met him, I know his thoughts very well now. Demon Dawn, like me, is a hero on this sea. Hehe, after I leave, Dressrosa will be handed over to you. The good show is about to begin. Chapter 208. Not a drop left. Chen Tian was sitting alone in the study. In front of him were 2 huge empty boxes. Originally, they contained 10 devil fruits, but now they have all been turned into system points. After 10 recharges, the system will summon 2 people who are related to him. Now Chen Tian has absorbed 55 devil fruits, and he should be able to summon all the people he is familiar with. System, start the first summoning. After taking a deep breath, Chen Tian started the first summoning directly. Start random summoning. Ding, random summoning successful. Summoning character, Senjutsu Nade. After the system voice fell, a young woman with short golden hair, green robes, and thrilling headlights appeared in front of Chen Tian. Her slender waist really made people wonder if it would be broken by the headlights. Senjutsu Ned was originally the princess of Konoha, the granddaughter of the first and second generation Hokage, and one of the 3 ninjas of Konoha. Although her combat ability is not strong, it is not weak either. However, she is recognized as the best in the world in terms of medical care, and no one dares to disobey her. She is also an outstanding leader. In the original work, she is the 5th generation Hokage of Konoha. Her appearance is good for the current Bankei pirates. Tsunade can be the leader of the medical team, which is not a loss alone. Moreover, with Tsunade's leadership, Chen Tian does not have to worry about the medical team. Moreover, Tsunade has a good relationship with him, and Chen Tian misses him very much. Little Chen Tian, it's been a long time since we last met. I didn't expect that you have such ability now. After Tsunade appeared, she sat opposite Chen Tian and looked around. Chen Tian smiled at this moment, then knocked on the table and said, "It's been a long time since we last met. Go find Jiraiya and Kushina, they will take you to the current medical team. From today on, you are the leader of the medical team, but you are the only one in your team for the time being. I understand. It's a good opportunity to look around. I'm still quite curious about this world." After saying this, Tsunade walked out with a smile. After Tsunade left, Chen Tian whispered to himself, "I didn't expect to be able to summon Tsunade. I'm really lucky." Tsunade is very famous in the Naruto world. With her ability, she can thrive in the new world. The most important thing is her medical ninjutsu, which is a bit invincible in this world. Only the surgery fruit can compare. This should be considered lucky, right? No, it's definitely lucky. My luck is not bad now. The system will start the second summoning immediately. Chen Tian thought for a long time before making a decision. In fact, he couldn't say whether it was lucky or not, but he could summon Tsunade, so he must be good now. Since he was not bad, he should seize the opportunity to summon the rest of the people quickly. Start random summoning. Ding, random summoning successful. Summoning character, Orochimaru. This time really surprised Chen Tian a little. Orochimaru's martial arts were just like that, about the same as Tsunade, not as good as some Jiraiya. But Orochimaru's value is not this, his real value is scientific research ability. The title of the #1 scientist in the Naruto world is not for nothing. He can even study the human soul and invent the existence of reincarnation. I don't know who is better, Orochimaru or Vegapunk. Let's have a try when there is a chance. Chen Tian thought with interest. After that, you will be assigned to Jiraiya's ninjutsu team. After all, you are both ninjutsu players and are acquaintances. But you can also stay in my house to do research at ordinary times. After all, the ninjutsu team has nothing to do now. As for other things, Jiraiya will tell you. Chen Tian must be too familiar with Orochimaru. It was he who led Orochimaru on the path of a scientist. When he was in Konoha, Orochimaru often communicated with him, and the two had a close relationship. Okay, but I need to collect some materials for research. Orochimaru stared at Chen Tian with shining eyes. For a scientist, the unknown things really interest him too much. Especially when he was summoned, the system gave him some basic common sense and the situation of the 10,000 worlds pirates. Orochimaru was curious about too many things. What is the devil fruit? What is the 3-color domineering? Why can the human body in this world become so powerful? In addition, Orochimaru also wanted to study the long-armed tribe, long-legged tribe, fishman tribe, fur tribe and giant tribe. After getting Chen Tian's approval, Orochimaru didn't even want to waste time reminiscing about the past, and went to find Jiraiya on the spot. He had to complete Chen Tian's arrangement as quickly as possible, and then find some materials to start research. Watching Orochimaru leave in a hurry, Chen Tian suddenly felt a little bit amused. Anyway, we can't go back. What's the point of you being so anxious? Isn't it better to take it slowly? It has to be said that scientists' ideas are really not something that ordinary people can guess. Shaking his head helplessly, Chen Tian began to communicate with the system. System, this time you are so lucky. Is it you who did it? Who asked me to absorb all the energy you used to freeze the time and space of the Naruto world? I can only help you as much as possible. The system smiled and admitted it shamelessly. Chen Tian did not say anything and directly asked, "It's already now. Can you tell me in detail what happened? Then the system began to explain bit by bit, and Chen Tian finally understood the whole story. Because after swallowing another system, the system has been greatly upgraded. But after the upgrade, the system found that it was missing something, which was the part that froze the time and space of the Naruto world. In order to recover that part, the system simply recovered it directly, and then used the power of the devil fruit to slowly summon the people that Chen Tian cared about. In this way, Chen Tian did not have to desperately return to the Naruto world, and the system could also recover its own power. Even Chen Tian's chakra was also cheap, and it was all absorbed by it. However, in order to compensate Chen Tian, the system directly gave him 1 million energy points, which could be used for a top-level lottery. Before, I thought Chen Tian was either fighting or on the way to fight, so the system only gave a general account. Now that it has temporarily settled down, it told Chen Tian everything, without hiding anything. So that's how it is, but it doesn't matter. As long as these people can be summoned, it doesn't matter if they don't go back. Chen Tian nodded thoughtfully. Now the Naruto world has started to run normally, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, people like Minato, Kushina, Han, Kakashi and my guy have all come here, and the others will come slowly. I believe that it won't be long before those who are closely related to me will come here. Chen Tian is still very sure about this. As long as there is enough power, Chen Tian can attack the Holy Land Merijoa and plunder the devil fruits of the celestial dragons. At that time, let alone 300, even 3000 will not be a problem. And the 1 million energy points compensated by the system can be used for a top-level lottery to strengthen my strength. According to the system, the rewards for the top lottery are not garbage like cold spirit bone fire, but things from the world of Journey to the West. A weed and there is probably a treasure in front of me. It's really a bargain for you. These 1 million energy points are all the deposits of the system that I swallowed. Now I don't have a drop. The system said leisurely. It was a normal thing, but when it came out of the system, Chen Tian always felt something was wrong. You are just a system. What do you mean you have nothing? I'm a man and I like women, and I have no interest in the system. Remember it? Huh. I just want to ask you if you remember it. Chen Tian roared in his heart and cut off the connection with the system. Although the lottery is good, I'm disgusted by the system, so I'd better wait until tomorrow. Chapter 209 The Tea Party begins. The Wanjiuo was very lively at this time. Big Mom's tea party was also a big event in the new world, and anyone invited by Big Mom would never refuse. In other words, those people had no right to refuse, unless they wanted to offend Charlotte Linlin, the emperor of the new world. I say, can we be a little low-key today? After all, we are here to eat for free. Can we not act like the whole world owes me 5 million? Chen Tian looked at the two people with him, his face full of helplessness. When he came to Cake Island, he brought all the members of the 1G pirates, but the others stayed on the ship. There were only two people who really followed him to attend the tea party. One was Kakashi, who looked the coolest in the world. He had a paralyzed look on his face. If anyone talked to him, he would just look at him with a dead fish eye. Anyone who looked at his dead fish eyes would probably feel unhappy in their hearts. Besides, the people present were either big figures in the dark world or big pirates in the new world. Who could obey whom? As for the other one, my guy, who is obviously a simple-minded guy, wanted to compete with Kakashi in coolness, and his eyebrows, which were 2 fingers wide, were very eye-catching. Captain, why do you always care about other people's eyes? Besides, we are not here to attend a tea party. To be honest, I want to take action now. Everyone here looks annoying enough. Kakashi stared at Chen Tian with dead fish eyes, and then said directly to Chen Tian. As for Might Guy, he didn't care what was happening around him at all. He kept imitating Kakashi to act cool, and his eyes became cross-eyed. If there was a need for a fight, he would naturally be the first to take action, but at other times, his brain was a little confused. Ah, isn't this the famous 1G pirates who resounded throughout the world some time ago? I remember your name is Chen Tian, right? You are worthy of being a great pirate. You dare to come here, after being wanted by Ling Ling. At this time, a woman walked along the road to a place not far from Chen Tian, looked at the latter carefully with a pair of eyes, and spoke at the same time. Chen Tian turned his head, and saw a blonde woman wearing a white hat and a white shirt. From the perspective of normal people's aesthetics, this woman can be regarded as young and beautiful. Of course, this is only the appearance, because this woman is not an ordinary person. One of the emperors of the dark world, the queen of Happy Street, Stussy. She looks young and beautiful, but in fact she is an old monster, because she calls the four emperors Big Mom just Lingling. More importantly, she is also a member of the intelligence department of the world CP0. Don't look at her harmless appearance, but in fact she has very strong strength. The attainment of 2-color domineering is not low, and she is also proficient in the 6 styles, and can use the flying finger gun to kill the enemy at a distance of 1,000 meters. This guy, it seems that the world government has no intention of letting me go. Seeing Stussy approaching him, Chen Tian immediately thought of the reason. But it is natural that the world government will not let him go. After all, Belma, his subordinate, killed a celestial dragon in public. This touched the bottom line of the world government. It would be strange if they let him go just because he entered the new world. I didn't expect that even the Queen of Happy Street has heard of me. It seems that my reputation is really not small. However, this little reputation is far inferior to the Emperor of the Dark World. Chen Tian smiled and said very modestly, facing the intelligence members of CP0, he must be cautious. Moreover, the purpose of his coming to the tea party this time is to show off his power. Before the real battle begins, he naturally needs to be careful. Don't be so distant. You are going to join Lingling's pirate group, so there is a certain connection between us. After all, the relationship between Lingling and I is still very good. Stussy intends to get closer to Chen Tian. As for what she is holding in her heart, no one knows. Hehe, have you found Bankei so soon? Stussy, do you want to rely on your relationship with Big Mom to turn Bankei into an ally of Happy Street? Suddenly, Doflamingo walked over with a step that showed no regard for his relatives. His sunglasses flashed with strange eyes. He stayed on Chen Tian for a moment and then moved to Stussy. He is also a top figure in the dark world, the middleman of the dark world. Joker, what you said is wrong. We are all in a mutually beneficial relationship. Chen Tian will soon be Lingling's man, so he is also a member of the Charlotte family. It will also be beneficial for us in the dark world to establish a good relationship early, isn't it? Stussy's eyes changed slightly, but it returned to normal in just a moment. No one noticed the cold light that flashed in her eyes just now. Wow, I didn't expect that the Emperor of the Dark World would meet my future family. Then please come in. At this moment, the eldest son of the Charlotte family, Charlotte Perispero, appeared in front of everyone. Charlotte Perispero, the first son of the 4 emperors Big Mom, the minister of candy among the 34 ministers of Wonjiuo, is a candy man who ate the licking fruit. Although he has never seen him before, he has already regarded Chen Tian as his future subordinate. This is the power of Charlotte Linlin, one of the 4 emperors. He never thought that Chen Tian would dare to resist them. As for family, it's just talk. He is just a big pirate and can only be his running dog at most. But the surface work still needs to be done well. After all, today is Big Mom's tea party. It would be bad if she is unhappy. I have heard of your name for a long time, Chen Tian. Perispero turned his eyes and put them on Chen Tian and then said with a smile, because of your arrival, Mom is very happy today. I will apologize to Mom later. Although Mom has decided to let bygones be bygones for the past, it is still your fault to kill our own people, isn't it? I will attend this tea party well. You can rest assured about this. Chen Tian nodded with a mocking smile. He felt disgusted by Perispero's address. He wanted me to call him Mom? Just because of Charlotte Linlin? As for the tea party, he answered, except for him and his Wanji, it is estimated that other people don't know what they mean by participating properly. And other people will not think about that aspect, because in this world, there are not many idiots who dare to challenge the 4 emperors. Moreover, he was not in the mood to care about a small character like Perispero. From the beginning, the target set by Chen Tian for him was the big aunt who was called the 4 emperors. Haha, I didn't expect you to be so sensible. That really saved me a lot of saliva. Perospero didn't think much about it and continued, Chen Tian, as the eldest brother, I remind you that you must not make your mother unhappy, otherwise the consequences will be very serious. To be honest, your decision to surrender is a wise choice, understand? I know. Chen Tian said softly. Be my brother? Don't make big aunt unhappy. After that, the old woman will probably be more than just unhappy. This time, the 10,000 world's pirates will surely become famous again among the 10,000 nations. That's good. After all, we will be a family in the future. As soon as the voice fell, Perospero used his fruit ability to create a candy elevator for people to pass through. Okay, everyone, go ahead. You can take this elevator directly to the place where the tea party will be held. I hope you will enjoy your meal then. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210, Pretending to be Compliant. The next moment, Chen Tian and the Dark World Emperor stepped onto the elevator, and just when Kakashi and Might Guy were about to follow, Perospero used his candy cane to block them. As guards, you just need to wait here. Perospero didn't intend to let Kakashi and Might Guy in. Perospero, Big Mom wants me and my Wanji pirates to integrate into the Wanji, right? If that's the case, the two of them will probably have to go with me to see Big Mom. After all, Kakashi and Might Guy have great prestige in the Wanji, and even I only got their recognition because of some coincidences. Chen Tian turned around. If Kakashi and Might Guy couldn't go in, then things would be more troublesome. So he still tried his best to hope that Kakashi and Might Guy could go to the tea party with him. White Fang Kakashi. Might Guy's name is somewhat familiar, but he doesn't seem to have any name. At this time, Perospero also thought of the bounty order from some time ago. Kakashi's bounty is almost as much as his, and Might Guy is not much behind either. The two are of the same level. Well, if that's the case, then follow Chen Tian, but remember to observe etiquette at the tea party. Otherwise, even if you are Chen Tian's subordinates, no one will show mercy to your subordinates. After thinking for a while, although Perospero was very unhappy with Chen Tian's address, he still let Kakashi and Might Guy in. One reason is that Chen Tian has just arrived and is about to become a dessert star, so he is still willing to give Chen Tian some face. The other reason is that he doesn't believe and doesn't think anyone dares to make trouble at his mother's tea party unless the other party is also a 4 emperor. Of course, for activities like tea parties, not to mention that Big Mom will not invite other emperors. Even if she invites them, no one will come. A 4 emperor went deep into the territory of another 4 emperor alone. Isn't that courting death? Although he didn't say anything, Kakashi looked at Perospero deeply. But K's reaction was a bit big. He was very unhappy with Perospero's action of stopping him just now. If it weren't for Chen Tian who kept stopping him with his eyes, he probably planned to attack Perospero just now. Okay, don't be arrogant here. At least we have to get along well in the future. Don't cause trouble for the captain. At this time, Kakashi grabbed Might Guy's right shoulder and dragged him directly to the candy elevator. He was actually a little unhappy just now, but he didn't show it directly like Might Guy, and his IQ is not comparable to K's. He is still calm until now. Sorry, Perospero. The personalities of the crew members of the 10,000 worlds under my command are very special, but I will control them well after entering. Don't worry. Chen Tian also spoke to Perospero at this time. That's nothing. I won't mind if you say something like that to me. But don't talk nonsense at the tea party. After all, everyone has to be in front of Mom there. You should know that. And I'm still reminding you. If Mom gets angry, what will happen? Chen Tian, you don't know that, do you? Perospero still had a smile on his face, but there was a hint of warning in his words. In his opinion, the reason why Might Guy acted like this was that he thought too highly of himself. And the person who thought too highly of himself was not just Might Guy, but also Chen Tian, who was called the 5th emperor of the new world in the news. Although Chen Tian's bounty was very high and no one could compare to him except Mom, he didn't think Chen Tian would be Mom's opponent. In the entire new world, there were only 3 other terrifying monsters who could be called Mom's opponents. It was because the strength of only the 4 of them was far beyond that of others that they were given the title of the 4 emperors. I know this very well. Chen Tian turned his head and did not answer anything, but said to himself, it's just that the old woman may not know what the consequences of making me angry are. Originally, he did not intend to attack the Big Mom pirates, and he did not bother to care about the previous bounty. But when Charlotte Lin sent people to come, the 2 sides were in a life and death situation. Chen Tian would never surrender to Charlotte Lin. At most, it would be a battle. The 10,000 Worlds pirates were not weak either. But if Chen Tian refused, Charlotte Lin would not tolerate Chen Tian to live. Because Chen Tian was rewarded by her, if he could still live safely, everyone in the new world would look down on her, and her reputation would plummet. Some people might even say that Charlotte Lin was afraid of the 10,000 Worlds pirates, so she did not dare to take action. All this is something Charlotte Lin cannot tolerate. Big Mom's Tea Party is a big event in the new world, because under the invitation of the 4 emperors Big Mom, many prominent people will appear here. For example, the Emperor of the Dark World, that Chen Tian met just now, or some of the great pirates in the New World, who have a friendly relationship with the Big Mom pirates, and can almost be said to be dependent on the Big Mom pirates. There are also kings of some countries who will appear here. After all, they cannot refuse the invitation of the 4 emperors Big Mom, unless they are tired of living. Before entering the tea party, Chen Tian saw the 6 emperors of the Dark World. Except for Stussy, a few guys should be waiting for Stussy here. Shipping King Umit, the king who controls the marine transportation industry in the new world. His power can almost be said to be spread all over the world. In addition to him, there are the big-handed Undertaker Piercrow, the hiding master Jibberson, and the god of blessing Dufeld, and Morgans, the president of the World Economic Newspaper, who blew Chen Tian into the 5th emperor of the new world. Together with Stussy, the queen of Happy Street who entered the tea party with Chen Tian, these 6 people are the masters of the dark world. Of course, there is one more person now, and that is Don Quixote, the middleman of the dark world. But there is one thing, that is, when Chen Tian was about to enter the tea party, his mood was not so happy. Although I like to eat and drink for free, but here, when I look up, 90% of them are sweets. Although I know that 1GUO is like this, I still feel very uncomfortable when I really see it. In other words, the strength has not really reached the point of crushing, and the person in charge will come directly, so there is no need to be so hypocritical. But it's okay, as long as you can get close to Charlotte Lin and fight with the opponent directly, the pressure will be much less. The Big Mob pirate group is large in number, but the 1G pirate group is only a dozen people at most. Directly dealing with the opponent's top management, this is the most appropriate plan. Hey, this is the demonic Chenshin of the Bankei pirates. Hey, Stussy, how did you get in touch with him? You know, everything about him is big news now. Morgan saw Chenshin walking with Stussy and Doflamingo at a glance. After all, the biggest news some time ago was what he reported about Chenshin. The fledgling pirate was able to break out of the encirclement of the 3 admirals, and made the Navy headquarters suffer a loss. In the end, the Navy headquarters was left waiting in vain in the Sabaody archipelago. People who can do such things are definitely not simple. With his keen sense of smell from many years of working in the news industry, he felt that there must be more big news to dig about Chenshin, such as the toad sage Jiraiya who can control the seawater. Chapter 211 The battle begins. Welcome, guests, and congratulations on your wise choice, Chenshin. Just at this moment, when several people almost walked into the venue of the tea party together, a voice came over, and standing at the entrance was a familiar figure. Ah, Smoothie. Morgans greeted him. Chenshin nodded slightly and said softly, Smoothie, would you like a welcome drink? There were some strange things hanging behind Smoothie, and then he continued. Today there are corals from 20,000 meters deep sea, nobles who killed their husbands and sons, and elephants that can sing. I want a cup of elephant. For me, I want coral. Me too. Several emperors of the dark world quickly decided to drink what they had on their bodies, but Doflamingo had no intention of drinking these things. Chen looked up at Smoothie, who stood up and started to make drinks with his own ability with a depressed face, then sighed and slowly said, I don't need it either. Although he had never seen these things with his own eyes, Doflamingo told him on the way back. After knowing the raw materials, Chen didn't want to touch them at all. Mom is waiting for you inside. Remember what I said before, Chen. Don't make a decision that will disappoint Mom. Smoothie approached Chen and said softly in a voice that only the two of them could hear. She didn't want to be an enemy of Chen, so she also advised Chen here. Even if possible, she didn't want to participate in any battle. There are also people in the Big Mom Pirates who understand the relationship between family, and she is one of them. In every battle, there will always be brothers and sisters who die, especially in battles with big pirates like Chen. So if possible, she really wants to avoid fighting, because she knows her mother's strength very well. Although Chen and his Wanji pirates are very strong, they are definitely not as good as her mother. She has no doubt about this. But Chen's strength is not weak either, and he will definitely cause a lot of casualties to the Big Mom Pirates, which is what she doesn't want to see. Don't worry, Smoothie, I won't make a decision that I will regret. After that, Chen took Kakashi and Might Guy and walked inside. This time, even the 6 emperors of the Dark World and Doflamingo did not follow. On the main seat of the tea party was a huge fat woman, the aunt of one of the 4 emperors, Charlotte Linlin. Well, isn't this Chen? I didn't expect that you who killed my subordinates before could grow to this point, but since you are willing to surrender, I will let bygones be bygones. When the aunt saw Chen coming to her, she immediately showed a happy look. Sit down and participate in this tea party. Afterwards, our Wanji Yuo will hold a celebration for you. After all, the emergence of a new general is also a very important thing for the whole family. Your brothers and sisters will also be happy for you. The aunt was so happy when she saw Chen because Chen had enough strength. The Wanji Pirates is also a force that can deter one side in the new world. In this way, it is nothing for him to kill a few trash. After all, this world still respects the strong. Desert 3 General Stars will become Desert 4 General Stars. You will also be a member of our family from now on. Do you understand, Chen? Chen looked at Big Mom calmly, with an indescribably weird smile on his face. Even the people around him felt that there was something interesting and mocking in his raised mouth. But he was facing Big Mom, one of the 4 emperors. Who dared to mock the 4 emperors? Just when Chen was about to speak, Katakuri, who was sitting on the side, suddenly frowned. His expression changed, and then he shouted coldly, "Shut up, Chen. Don't say the rest. Mom has promised you to become a desert star. What else is there to be dissatisfied about? The 10,000 world's pirates under your command will continue to be led by you. You should be satisfied. You have seen the future, right, Katakuri?" Chen stared at Katakuri and said calmly, "But, in fact, I'm also a very stubborn person. Things that have been decided from the beginning cannot be changed now. Since you have made your attitude clear, I can't pretend that it didn't happen." Chen. Katakuri's face showed anger. However, he couldn't stop Chen. 4 emperors, Big Mom, your wanted order doesn't matter to me, but you should never ever threaten me. Chen eyes fell on Big Mom, and then his eyes condensed, and a cold voice came out of his mouth. At the same time, Might Guy also raised his eyebrows and showed a very bright smile. He clenched his fists, obviously ready for battle. Even Kakashi's dead fish eyes changed a little, and the powerful chakra in his body began to surge. Chen, what do you mean by this? Do you want to be my enemy? The aunt's face became extremely gloomy, and her expression became slightly ferocious. A terrifying momentum rushed out, and the air became heavy at this moment. From the beginning, we are enemies. Is there a problem? Chen said calmly. Then, go to hell. The armed color domineering aura rushed out instantly. The aunt suddenly stood up, stepped forward, and then waved her arms, and blasted directly towards Chen. The fist caused a violent wind to sweep, and the terrifying power even blew away many of the surrounding seats. And this was just the aunt's general attack. She did not use the abilities of Napoleon, Thundercloud, Zeus and Sun Prometheus. Mom. Katakuri wanted to dissuade her at this time, but he knew that it was too late. From the moment Chen Tian said those words, no one could stop the angry Big Mom. Boom. A loud noise was passed on, and the violent energy blew away many people around. At the moment, when Big Mom's fist fell just now, Chen Tian stood up directly. His body, which was much smaller than Big Mom's, punched forward directly and collided violently with Big Mom's fist. The terrifying power burst out crazily at this moment, and at the same time, it also exuded an extremely powerful momentum, which was not weaker than Big Mom, one of the 4 emperors. Is this all the power you have? For me, this little power is not even qualified to be an appetizer. After Chen Tian's punch, his body seemed to be rooted in the ground, and he didn't even take a step back, but his expression became more serious at this moment, and he didn't look as arrogant as before. Well, your strength is pretty good. Big Mom looked at Chen Tian with a little surprise. Being able to block her punch just now was enough to show that he was very strong. Chen Tian shook his arm, then sneered and said, how should I introduce myself? I'm the captain of the Wanji pirates, Chen Tian. I'm here to take your life today. He hated Big Mom, who first wanted to target Robin, then wanted him, and finally threatened him. I just praised you a little, there's no need to take it too seriously. Since you choose to go against me, then die. Napoleon. As soon as the voice fell, the tricorn hat on Big Mom's head immediately turned into a huge knife and fell into her hand. Then she swung the knife in her hand without hesitation and slashed at Chen Tian. It was also at this time that Chen Tian's eyes instantly became ferocious, and a strong pressure burst out from his body, and an extremely crazy aura began to emerge from his body. Don't think you can do anything to me like this. My strength is far beyond your imagination. Chen Tian waved his hand, and a powerful force attacked Napoleon. He was extremely furious at the moment, and the power he erupted was naturally extremely strong. Chapter 212-89 Mysterious Skills. The 1 million energy points compensated by the system before have been drawn by him. He was very lucky to have mastered a top-level martial art in the prehistoric world, called the 8-9 Mysterious Art. Although he can't even exert 1/millionth of his strength now, his physical body is very terrifying. For him, Big Mom, one of the 4 emperors, might really be a suitable opponent, because other people under her hands would probably not last long. In the entire Big Mom pirates, the only person who is qualified to fight a monster like Chen Tian, apart from the 4 emperors Big Mom, is probably the star Katakuri. Just surrender, disrupting the tea party, and even delusionally wanting to be an enemy of Mom. Such a Wanji pirate group is unforgivable. Just as Chen Tian was fighting with Big Mom, Charlotte Owen and Charlotte Day Fuku walked towards my guy, and Kakashi from the left and right. The 2 of them also had good combat power. But today, the 2 of them can't be the main characters. Owen and Fuku are both at the level of Vice Admirals of the Navy headquarters, but today, this level of combat power is nothing. Kakashi, leave these 2 guys to me. I also cherish the opportunity to fight side by side with my best friend. Might Guy showed up directly at this time. He stretched his muscles and bones, and a shining smile appeared on his face. Don't be careless. Although they are not your opponents, they are also very powerful. Kakashi also spoke up to remind him at this moment. But Might Guy didn't care about this at all. He smiled and said, don't worry, I heard that the guy with the flame head before, he can definitely win. Charlotte Katakuri stared at Chen Tian with her eyes fixed on him at this moment. I don't know what he is thinking, but you can see that his expression is extremely gloomy. He wanted to stop Chen Tian just now, but he didn't stop him. In fact, he was a little worried that Chen Tian would make trouble before, but after thinking about it carefully, he felt that no one would dare to provoke the aunt at the tea party. Because this is Wanguo, the base camp of their Big Mom pirates. Provoking here is tantamount to seeking death. But Chen Tian did it, and he did it without any room for maneuver. He was determined to stand on the opposite side of the Big Mom pirates. Charlotte Katakuri didn't want to stop it, because she cared about Chen Tian, but for themselves. Chen Tian made trouble at the tea party, and he would definitely die after angering Big Mom, but they were not feeling well. Even though he was one of the 4 generals of desert, Katakuri had to admit that Big Mom was really a lunatic. If she really got angry, his powerful son would naturally be fine, but other weak and worthless brothers and sisters would probably die a lot. But now is not the time to think about such things. The most urgent thing is to deal with this farce and calm Big Mom's emotions. Katakuri immediately looked around the battlefield. Chen Tian was fighting with Big Mom head on and the tribe was at a disadvantage, but no one thought that Chen Tian could defeat Big Mom. The Charlotte family believed that there was absolutely no such possibility, and the other guests agreed that they would not think that Chen Tian could defeat Big Mom. After all, this was one of the 4 monsters that had dominated the New World for many years. Big Mom could kill giants at the age of 5. On the other side, Might Guy directly faced Oin, Daifuku, Opera, Kant and several others. The guy with thick eyebrows was not in a hurry when fighting with so many people at the same time. Moreover, he left wounds on Oin and others, but he was unscathed. Because of the outbreak of this war, many guests fled or hid. Only the 6 emperors of the Dark World and Don Quixote stood in the distance and watched the battle at the moment. Although their strength was not as strong as Big Mom, or even as strong as Kakashi, they were not weak. With enough confidence to save their lives, these people dared to watch the show here. Among them, Morgans, the Birdman, was still excited and holding a camera to record. After all, Chen Tian provoked Big Mom at the tea party, which was a big news. If it was just an ordinary offense, it would be nothing, even if a war started. After all, this is a world of pirates. But Chen Tian chose to do it at the tea party, which is completely not a matter of the same level. The tea party was hosted by Big Mom, and so many strong people were invited to participate. But Chen Tian's slap in the face now is completely a joke for everyone to see Big Mom. If Big Mom still has no reaction, she will really be looked down upon by everyone in the world. That's why Big Mom is so furious. If Chen Tian can't be killed today, and the Bankei pirates can't be eliminated, the reputation of the Big Mom pirates will plummet tomorrow. Kakashi Katakuri took 2 steps towards Quan Quan and stopped again, saying, "Since you want to take action, let me deal with you." When he was observing the situation just now, his observation haki predicted the future and saw Kakashi suddenly kill Charlotte Dayfuck, so he blocked it here in time. If Katakuri doesn't do anything, then let me deal with this white-haired guy. At this time, a tall general wearing a helmet with a vertical column of sideburns and biscuit-based horns on both sides of the helmet came out. He was wearing black and white biscuit-style armor with the word BIS on it, with a pointed and long beard, holding a long sword, and carrying a large biscuit shield on his back. This guy is also one of the Desert Stars, the 10th son of the Charlotte family, the Biscuit Prime Minister of Wonjiuo, and the bounty of Charlotte Crete. Cracker is extremely loyal to Wonjiuo and Big Mom, and the behavior of Chen Tian and others has completely angered him. But Chen Tian is now fighting Big Mom, and he dare not snatch Big Mom's prey. Might Guy was besieged by so many people, and Cracker was very confident in his strength, and was unwilling to join forces with others. So the only opponent he could choose was Kakashi. Of course, the Cracker you see now is not him. He is actually hiding in the biscuit, because he hates pain. He doesn't even like injections. Seeing the Cracker coming towards him, Kakashi's expression did not change at all. He still had a dead fish face. Chapter 213 I want to have a baby with Chen Tian Sheng. Chen Tian had already told him about the Charlotte family. No one could threaten him, except Big Mom and Katakuri. So Kakashi was also a cage level warrior, and he was not afraid of a mere desert star. Only Katakuri, who could preempt the future, was more troublesome. It didn't matter who the others were. Looking at Cracker calmly, Kakashi slowly said, "You want to defeat me if you hide your head and show your tail and don't even dare to show your true face?" After taking a closer look at the biscuit armor, Kakashi said, "Although your strength is good, I don't think you can cause any harm to me. The only person I can pay attention to here, besides Big Mom, is Katakuri." Some of Kakashi's words were sincere, but most of them were really to hit Cracker's psychology. He was an extremely good ninja, and this kind of low-level psychological tactics was easy to catch. Huh? White Fang Kakashi, don't think that, just because you've been praised by Morgans, the Birdman, for a while, you really regard your pirate group as the 5th emperor of the New World. You are far from qualified. Cracker began to taunt unhappily. Compared with our Big Mom pirates, you are just some trash. Let me see what strength your trash subordinates can have. Cracker didn't take Kakashi seriously at all, and he taunted him crazily. What, the 5th emperor of the new world? He didn't believe it at all. In his opinion, the Bankei pirates and Chenshin and others just got lucky and happened to become famous. But in his heart, he was furious at this time, and he wanted to tear Kakashi to pieces immediately. It's true that Big Mom and Katakuri are stronger than him, but Kakashi's contempt deeply stimulated him. If you want to fight, why bother to say more? But you can't even touch the corner of my clothes. Do you believe it? Kakashi looked at Cracker calmly and said slowly. He was not being arrogant, but stating a fact. It was true that Cracker was powerful, but in Kakashi's opinion, his biscuit fruit was no different from the multiple shadow clone technique, just a little more durable. Moreover, his knowledge of the two-color domineering was also very ordinary, nothing to be praised. Such an enemy who only relied on numbers, without speed, strong lethality, and strong defense, was a living target in front of Kakashi. Under the guidance of Chen Tian, he learned swordsmanship since he was a child and relied on swordsmanship to become a shadow-level strongman. So his advantage was his strong attack power and ghostly speed, which just happened to completely restrain Cracker. Even if there were more biscuit soldiers, Kakashi could kill them all with one sword. Sure. At this moment, Cracker slashed Kakashi with a sword, but when the sword fell, Kakashi disappeared on the spot like a dream bubble. Cracker's sword only touched Kakashi's afterimage, and did not cause even the slightest damage. Is it so fast? Cracker was stunned for a moment, and then immediately slashed out with his sword again. However, this moment was no different from the previous one. Kakashi agreed to dodge at super fast speed, making Cracker's attack miss again. Crack, swing your sword to the left back to block. Suddenly, Katakuri's voice sounded. After hearing this reminder, Cracker did not hesitate at all, and immediately swung the long sword in his hand, to slash at the back. When he made this move, a sword seemed to appear from the void, and fell towards him fiercely. Bang! The sound of metal intersecting sounded, and Cracker couldn't help but feel a little scared when he saw Kakashi appearing behind him without anyone noticing and attacking. If Katakuri hadn't spoken to remind him, this sword would definitely break his defense. If that sword really fell on him, it would not be a question of whether it hurt or not, but he would probably never feel the pain and die directly. After the attack failed, Kakashi retreated a distance, and then said calmly, "You are not my opponent, let Katakuri come." This time when he came to Cake Island, Chenshin brought most of the people from the Bankei pirates. Except for the two little guys, Nami and Nakiko, everyone else was on the Bankei ship. As long as there was a fight on Cake Island, they would immediately start to act. And seeing the situation just now, the only general who rushed outside was Smoothie. But relying on Smoothie alone, it is impossible to resist the Bankei pirates in any case. Just one person can hold her back. If Minato, Jiraiya, or Orochimaru and Tsunade took action, I'm afraid Smoothie would have to explain here. Before, Chenshin could give orders to everyone, and there was no estimate on Cake Island, just kill them directly. Now all the people from the Bankei pirates have started to act, and the bursts of explosions revealed everything. Boom. At this moment, a huge explosion suddenly broke out, and Chenshin was pushed back more than 10 meters by the terrifying power of Big Mom in the previous moment. His expression also became a little more solemn, but the fighting spirit hidden in his eyes did not diminish at all. Well, your strength is really good. I can give you a chance to live, as long as you surrender to me. How about it? The aunt held Napoleon tightly in her hand, looking at Chenshin with a little appreciation, and even had the idea of having a child with Chenshin. Chenshin's strength is stronger than Katakuri. If he can be recaptured, he will definitely be a good helper. It doesn't matter if you can get such a helper, even if you lose some face. What's more, if you have a child with Chenshin, it will definitely be an excellent child. It's also a good thing that she didn't say all these words, otherwise, Chenshin might be able to explode directly because of anger and exert a combat power far beyond his limit. What, are you kidding? Do you think that just now is all my strength? Ridiculous. Next, let me show you my true strength. Chenshin's momentum surged, and the invisible wind kept spinning around his body. Ling, draw your sword and slash. With a loud shout, the aura that burst out from Chen Tian's body was at least half as strong as before, becoming more and more terrifying. Chapter 214 All Worlds Gathered. At the same time, the long sword wrapped around his waist was suddenly pulled out. At this moment, he revealed all his strength. Although the strength it revealed at this moment was not his limit, such strength was terrifying enough. Since you don't want to surrender, then go to hell, Elbaf we go. The aunt's face became extremely ferocious. The big knife in her hand swung violently, and she slashed at Chen Tian with all her strength. The huge sword energy was enough to cut the island apart, and now it was this huge sword energy rushing towards Chen Tian. Such a scene shocked even the people of the Charlotte family. Katakuri gave up attacking Kakashi directly, and exerted all his abilities to protect his brothers and sisters. Elbaf we go. This move was too powerful. When it was used here, those brothers and sisters with slightly weaker strength were affected. In Katakuri's eyes, the safety of his brothers and sisters was far more important than dealing with Kakashi. Don't underestimate me, who can't resist this kind of power. Chen Tian didn't have any intention of dodging at this time. He directly drew out the long sword at his waist and went hard. Boom. The huge sound spread in all directions, and the cave castle began to shake wildly. The ground under everyone's feet appeared spider-web-like cracks, as if the island would collapse under such a confrontation this time, and it was analyzed. At this time, Chen Tian let out a long breath, and suddenly swung a circle towards the sky. The powerful force caused a tornado to appear in the air. This was the secret code between Chen Tian and the Wanji pirates. After the tornado appeared, everyone rushed to Chen Tian's location, but in a moment everyone appeared behind him. At this moment, the power that erupted from the collision between Big Mom and him slowly dissipated. Chen Tian did not continue to fight with Big Mom, but retreated in front of Jiraiya and others, standing proudly as the captain of the Wanji pirates. Even Might Guy gave up the fight with Daifuku, Oin and others, and stood behind Chen Tian. At this point, all members of the Wanji pirates were present. Chen Tian, you really pissed me off. The aunt looked at Chen Tian, who was walking slowly forward with his crew with a firm look, and her face was full of ferocity. Although she had fought with Chen Tian just now, she was not injured at all. As expected of a monster born with an extremely strong body, it is definitely not an easy thing to hurt her. But in contrast, Chen Tian, who won the 8-9 mysterious art in the lottery, is very powerful even in a weak body. So after fighting with the aunt, although she did not hurt the aunt, she was also unscathed. I thought of this a long time ago, but what if I pissed you off? I said, I came here today to resolve our direct grievances. Killing you was my original purpose. There was no fear on Chen Tian's face. His temperament was very lazy, but now he exuded a murderous aura. You said, your original purpose? It's ridiculous. The aunt became more and more angry after hearing this, and swung the huge sword in her hand, slashing it towards the place where Chen Tian was. At the moment, when the sword slashed over, before Chen Tian took action himself, Minato and Kushina looked at each other, and rushed out at the same time. Both of them used ninjutsu and hit the sword in Big Mom's hand at the same time. Boom. Minato and Kushina were not Big Mom's opponents when fighting alone, but with the combined efforts of the two, they blocked Big Mom's sword, and prevented the sword in her hand from falling. Maybe Kushina and Minato didn't have such strength, but Chen Tian's previous experience in the Naruto world was not in vain. Under his influence, these people's strength is much stronger than in the original work. What's more, they have been in the pirate world for so long, and with their talents, they have already mastered the armed color and observation color domineering. So it is normal to block Big Mom's sword. If you want to attack Chen Tian, you have to ask us if we agree. Kushina said coldly with her eyes blazing at the figure of Big Mom who was much taller than herself. I have taken care of my brother for so many years, and I didn't even have the heart to hit him. Now you, a crazy woman, want to do it? Believe it or not, I will kill you. Who allowed you to attack my mother? Suddenly, Smoothie came running from outside with a big sword in hand. She attacked Kushina and Minato without hesitation. It was these two people who stopped her outside before. But what Smoothie didn't know was that these two people could easily kill her together. If Kushina hadn't admired her a little and asked Minato not to kill her, she would have died by now. Even if any of these two people attacked with all their strength, she couldn't contend with them. Although she could hold them off for a short time, she would still die in the end. Because of the appearance of Smoothie, Kushina was forced to another direction by her, and then the two started a big fight. Chapter 215 Choosing an Opponent. Let's continue the fight. Those people who just fought with me, come out and continue fighting. My guy hadn't fought enough, and he shouted, and immediately rushed to the position where Owen and Afuku were. Although he still wanted to fight with Big Mom, and was sure that he could kick her to death, he didn't want to die just like that. Moreover, Chen Tian had already told him not to open the 8th gate of the 8 gates. It was obviously not a good choice to target Big Mom in this situation. Moreover, he knew that Big Mom would definitely be left to Chen Tian. Didn't he see that Minato had already changed his opponent twice? Don't underestimate our Charlotte family. Owen's whole body became extremely hot at this time. He rushed out angrily and directly faced my guy. At the same time, Daifuku was also merciless. He had already known that the strength of this thick-browed man was much stronger than himself and Owen. Before, when so many brothers and sisters were besieging them, they didn't have the upper hand. If they were careless now, someone might be killed here. Since we all have our own goals, I can only choose you, Katakuri. After understanding the situation with his dead fish eyes, Kakashi walked towards Katakuri helplessly. Other strong men have been dealt with, and the weak ones are naturally left to Kinksu, Robin and others. He can only choose Katakuri. To be honest, Katakuri is definitely the most annoying opponent for ninjas. Because ninjas emphasize one-hit kill, but Katakuri's observation haki can predict the future. This makes Kakashi unable to kill with one hit, and he can only enter a tangle. However, although he said so, Kakashi's eyes were full of fighting spirit, and he rushed towards Katakuri as soon as he finished speaking. Chenshin was not worried about this at all. Katakuri did restrain ninjas, but there were differences between ninjas. Kakashi's strength was not weaker than Katakuri, but Kakashi's brain was too useful. In Chenshin's opinion, Kakashi is really a perfect ninja. No matter what danger he encounters, he can successfully survive. Of course, sometimes he needs to lie down for several days. But even so, he has never really failed a few missions. Today we come here to destroy one GUO. Nothing else matters. Fight with all your strength while protecting yourself. Chenshin also spoke to the crew behind him at this time. As soon as this was said, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Kinksu, Robin, Belma and others rushed out one after another, and everyone chose their own goals. In addition to the Charlotte family, one GUO also has many affiliated pirate groups. Just like Big Mom wants Chenshin to surrender, these people were also recaptured by Big Mom. Although the strength of these people is uneven, there are many of them, and there are also strong ones among them. So these people are enough for Jiraiya and others to fight, and there is no worry about not having opponents. When everyone else went out to fight, Tsunade still stayed behind Chenshin. She was very confident, and said that she was a medical ninja. But Chenshin clearly saw that Tsunade looked at Cracker with a cruel look in her eyes, and seemed to be very curious about those cookie soldiers. Cracker happened to come out, and Chenshin shouted, "Hey, you bastard actually hurt me, come out and die for me." As soon as the voice fell, dozens of cookie soldiers rushed towards Chenshin quickly. Looking at Cracker's arrogant attitude, and then looking at Tsunade's unhappy fist, Chenshin mourned for Cracker in his heart. You can pretend to be cool in front of anyone else, but you have to pretend in front of Tsunade? Little Chenshin, I'm very interested in this cookie, just give it to me, I will treat him very gently. Tsunade's fists creaked, and she walked directly towards Cracker. Looking at Tsunade's increasingly fast steps, Chenshin really wanted to cover his eyes. He couldn't bear to see the miserable state of Cracker next. Tsunade is a standard violent girl, and this violent girl has this powerful strength. How can you do this to your own death? But Cracker had no time to answer him, because Tsunade punched one cookie soldier at a time, and he was summoning cookie soldiers with all his strength. But even so, the number of cookie soldiers on the field became fewer and fewer, and it would not take long for Tsunade to smash them all. Of course, when all these people started fighting, Chenshin and Zeran also faced Big Mom. The most intense battle on the entire Cake Castle was the battle between Chenshin and Big Mom. Both of them had monster level power, and every collision would burst out with a huge sound, even giving people a feeling that the space was about to crack. However, the space was definitely not cracked, but the ground under their feet had already appeared countless cracks, and the ground was still shaking, as if it could collapse at any time. To be honest, even Chen Tian couldn't help but be surprised by the strange power of Big Mom in front of him. Although he had long thought that Big Mom's strength would be very strong, and he had overestimated her as much as possible, Chen Tian found that he still underestimated her. Apart from other things, Big Mom's body alone was truly perverted. Chapter 216 Auntie's Food Cravings. However, Chen Tian was not naive enough to think that this was Big Mom's full strength. The cloud and the wretched sun floating beside her were obviously not naturally produced. No matter how you look at it, these two things are Big Mom's abilities. Of course, although Big Mom did not go all out, she also retained a lot of strength. Even though the fight was already a battle of heaven and earth, both of them retained some of their strength and held back. Chen Tian was not clear about Big Mom's strength, and Big Mom looked down on Chen Tian. Although Chen Tian had shown strong strength and could even endanger the four emperors, but Big Mom still looked down on him. After all, Chen Tian was just a pirate who had just arrived in the new world, and she herself was a four emperor who had dominated this sea for more than 10 years. Not only Big Mom, but almost no one present, except the Bankai pirates, was optimistic about Chen Tian. Chen Tian, stop here, otherwise you will inevitably face the full pursuit of our Big Mom pirates. At this moment, Katakuri forced his opponent to retreat and appeared in front of Chen Tian at the cost of serious injuries. Katakuri's expression was very ugly, leaving the wound bleeding. He said, "If you leave now, we can cancel the wanted order against you." As he spoke, his eyes unconsciously glanced at Big Mom, and the tension on his face was clearly visible. "Huh? Are you threatening me? Do you think you are going to win now?" Chen Tian opened his mouth and looked at Katakuri in disbelief. Although he did not have the advantage, he did not seem to be in a weak position. Where did Katakuri get the confidence to say such a thing? Do you want to make things worse again, Chen Tian? Katakuri's face instantly became gloomy when he heard Chen Tian's words. Through the prediction of the future with the observation haki, he has seen the scene of the destruction of the Cage Castle. And it was not the Bankai pirates who destroyed the Cage Castle, but their captain Big Mom. Ah, why do you look so ugly? It turns out that this old woman is crazy. Chen Tian took 2 steps back, then his eyes fell on Big Mom and said coldly. At the moment, when Katakuri turned his head, a crazy and irritable roar spread in all directions. Cream strawberry ice cream. I want cream strawberry and ice cream. The four emperors Big Mom, Charlotte Lin, is known as a natural destroyer, a soul fruit ability user, with a terrifyingly strong physical defense. She was once a member of the Rocks Pirates, and a terrifyingly powerful existence. However, under these powerful surfaces, she also has 2 extremely obvious weaknesses. Outsiders may not be particularly clear, but everyone in the Charlotte family knows the 2 weaknesses of Big Mom. The first is that she has a very serious food craving disorder, and the second is the photo of Sister Carmelo. As long as this photo is destroyed, Big Mom will immediately become extremely crazy. Once she falls into madness, she will smash and destroy everything in front of her. After the attack, she immediately becomes unrecognizable. Even if these people in the Charlotte family are her children, she still kills them without hesitation and will not listen to anyone. At the same time, after falling into madness, her combat IQ will also return to 0. She will not dodge or defend, but will only attack randomly. Unless she eats what she wants to eat, there is no other way to make her regain her sanity. Of course, because of her extremely powerful strength, these 2 weaknesses are not weaknesses. Others may not know these 2 weaknesses of Big Mom, but Chen Tian, who has read the comics, knows them clearly. But his pride does not allow him to use this opportunistic way to win. All the people in the Wanji Pirates are the pride of heaven, and Chen Tian is unwilling to take advantage of others. Although it is difficult to kill Big Mom, Chen Tian has enough confidence to do it. Of course, most of the above are nonsense. The real reason is that there are too many cannon fodders in the Big Mom Pirates, and Robin and others have been unable to hold on. If Minato had not been fast enough and supported Robin, Kingsu, Yui and Belma many times. They would have been useless long ago. After all, the time of training is too short and the strength is not strong enough. After Big Mom completely fell into madness, the people of the Charlotte family tried their best to stop themselves and others, and Robin and others would be in danger. Although this possibility is not great, just in case, Chen Tian thinks it is better to retreat temporarily. But before leaving, he must give Big Mom a hard beating. If he can't kill her, he must let her lie down for a few months. Everyone retreat, return to the ship of the 10,000 worlds. Hearing this shout, Minato took a deep breath and quickly transferred Robin and others to the ship, away from the cage castle. Seeing this, Jiraiya, Tsunade and others did not care about continuing to fight, and forced their opponents away, and retreated at a high speed. In just a moment, everyone except Chen Tian from the 10,000 Worlds pirates arrived on the ship, looking at Chen Tian on the cage castle from a distance. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217. This is just the beginning. Seeing that the people of the Bankei pirates began to evacuate, Katakuri also became alert and immediately said, "Brother Perispero, organize our people to evacuate immediately." Although we don't know what will happen next, the Bankei pirates have begun to evacuate. Chen Tian is definitely not joking. Evacuate? What about Mom? Perispero was stunned for a moment, and then looked at Big Mom who had begun to smash things around, and he couldn't make up his mind for a while. Mom will be fine. Compared to this, what we should worry about now is what will happen later. Today's events have completely provoked the war. It won't be long. When Mom wakes up, we will definitely start a big war with the Bankei pirates. Katakuri's face was extremely gloomy at this time. He could fully imagine how tragic the battle that broke out later would be. Chen Tian is not one of those little brats who just entered the new world and don't know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. His strength is very powerful, and the Wanji pirates can also compete with us. He still insists on starting a war under such circumstances, which means that he has the confidence to compete with us, and in fact, I saw it. In fact, through this confrontation, it can be seen that Chen Tian's Wanji pirates already have the strength to compete with the Big Mom pirates. In addition to the large gap in the number of middle and lower level personnel, the top level strength is not bad at all. Especially Jiraiya, the guy who is the most feared. If a battle is launched in the sea, no one in the Big Mom pirates is his opponent. Even when facing Big Mom, Jiraiya is not bound to lose. But these are not what we should think about now. The most important thing at the moment is to let everyone retreat. Hey, everyone. Retreat to the ship immediately. This is an order. Perispero was silent for a moment, but still made a decision in an instant. Turning around, he shouted loudly to his younger brothers and sisters and affiliated pirate groups. Although they didn't know the exact situation, Perispero and Katakuri both issued the same order. The other members of the Charlotte family didn't think much about it and immediately began to evacuate to the sea. Among them, those who were stronger also began to evacuate to the sea with their other brothers and sisters. At this time, Chen Tian had already stepped in front of the aunt, and he exuded an extremely powerful aura. A long sword appeared in his right hand at some point, and there was a cold white flame wrapped around the long sword. The huge and powerful armed color slowly covered the long sword, dyeing the white flame into a black color bit by bit. The armed color domineering and the cold spirit bone fire were superimposed at this moment, and it became even more terrifying than before. Give me the cream strawberry ice cream. Give it to me. Give it to me. At this time, the aunt's eyes turned into spiral circles. She had no idea who was standing in front of her. She just wanted her own cream strawberry ice cream. What a mess, Big Mom. You don't look like a king on the sea at all. In that case, let me help you. As he said that, Chen Tian raised the scene in his hand high up and slashed it downwards. The terrifying cold spirit bone fire and armed color domineering swept across the world in an instant. One knife flow, cold spirit armed, black flames all over the sky. The cold spirit bone fire wrapped in armed color domineering rushed out instantly. Under the power of the cold spirit bone fire, the raging flames burned on the cake island. Countless desserts became the best fuel, making the flames more turbulent. But under the flames, not only the charred land appeared, but also the crystal ice. Around the cake island, there appeared an ice surface that could not be seen at the end, freezing the entire cake island. Chen Tian was floating on it at the moment, but he was not moved at all. Compared with his own cold spirit bone fire, although it was a broken product, there was no need to worry about the flames hurting him. But the big mom who was crazy in front of him didn't know that he was in crisis at this moment. I know very well how powerful you are. You will not die, even if you are burned by the cold spirit bone fire. But continuing to fight will be disadvantageous to my Wanji pirates. Looking at Big Mom, Chen Tian said coldly, after all, we are not the only ones fighting here. There are many other forces. If others are caught while the mantis is catching the cicada, I will be in trouble. Chen Tian was right. The navy has been keeping an eye on him, ready to reap the benefits at any time. Turning around, Chen Tian said without looking back, but this is just the beginning. Between the Wanji pirates and the Big Mom pirates, only one can survive. After that, Chen Tian left here without looking back, leaving only Big Mom struggling in the flames. Chapter 218, Big Mom Pirate's Decision. That's right, this is just the beginning. It is obviously unrealistic for a big force like the four emperors to be destroyed in one go. And Big Mom is very powerful. In the current Wanji pirates, apart from Chen Tian, it is estimated that only Jiraiya, who has burst out with all his strength, can compete with her on the sea. Therefore, if you want to completely destroy the Big Mom pirates, the Wanji pirates need to become stronger. At least some middle level combat power is needed, otherwise Robin and others will not be able to deal with the opponent's human wave tactics. Of course, all of the above are nonsense made up by Chen Tian. The real reason is that his physical body is not weaker than Big Mom, but his attack power is too low to break Big Mom's defense. Big Mom's real strength is not her defense, nor is it her soul fruit that can absorb other people's souls. It's her natural strong physique. With her amazingly strong body, she has no way to deal with ordinary attacks. Even Kado, who is known as the immortal body, his physical fitness is not necessarily stronger than Big Mom's. Going long means that the recovery power is stronger, but the defense power is not necessarily so. So even if Big Mom fell into a crazy state before, Chen Tian had no way to kill Big Mom. In addition to the status of other people, they can only retreat temporarily. Brother Chen Tian, we should leave here. This island will be frozen soon, and will become a ruin. King Su said standing next to Chen Tian at this moment. Chen Tian nodded and said softly, let's go. Even if the Big Mom pirates want to retaliate, they will need to slow down for a while. During this time, we can just strengthen our trump card. After the words fell, King Su immediately began to control the ship, and left at a high speed in the distance. This time, Chen Tian and his Bankei pirates can be regarded as a big victory. Although Big Mom will not die, their affiliated pirate groups have suffered a lot of casualties. Most of them were not killed by Chen Tian and others, but by Big Mom who went crazy and beat them to death. When Chen Tian and the Bankei pirates left, on a ship in the distance, Don Quixote Doflamingo's expression became more and more exciting, and there was even unspeakable surprise and excitement in his eyes. They are so strong. The 10,000 Worlds Pirates, Chen Tian. They went straight to Big Mom Pirates, one of the four emperors. What's more terrifying is that if we calculate this battle accurately, the 10,000 Worlds Pirates still have the upper hand. Is a new era coming? I just don't know whether the 10,000 Worlds Pirates will ascend to the throne of the four emperors first, or will they be completely destroyed by Big Mom before that. No matter what the final outcome will be, the battle at this tea party is enough to make the name of the 10,000 Worlds Pirates resound throughout the world again, and this time it will be louder than the last time. Because they are facing the four emperors of the new world. It seems that I can also make some deals with Chen Tian. They should still need the devil fruit very much. Doflamingo has already started to make his own calculations at this time, and is ready to continue to build a relationship with Chen Tian. Of course, this time he will not give Chen Tian the devil fruit for free. No matter what, Chen Tian must buy it with real money. Although his worth is not bad, he can't afford to give it to Chen Tian for free. God knows how many devil fruits Chen Tian will need. Of course, Doflamingo naturally hopes that Chen Tian needs as many as possible, so that his business can be prosperous. And after there is enough interest between the two parties, their relationship can get better and better, right? On another large ship, some of the people who evacuated the Big Mom pirates were on the deck. Around the large ship, there were several smaller ships, all of which were people who were on Cake Island before. Katakuri was standing at the bow at this moment, looking at the island in front of him, that was burning and then freezing, and he didn't know what he was thinking. Brother Katakuri, what should we do now? Smoothie came over at this time and asked. After experiencing a big battle, these people looked very embarrassed, and there was a lot of blood on their bodies. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't be hunting down the Bankei pirates now. Before Charlotte Owen could finish, Katakuri shook his head and said, to hunt down the Bankei pirates now is just courting self-destruction. That Chen Tian can compete with Mom. Do you think any of you can be his opponent? Seeing that no one spoke, Katakuri continued this time. Besides, we don't have the strength to hunt down them in the sea. Some of them can control the sea water, and most of us are users of devil fruit abilities. Chapter 299 Whitebird. That's right, Katakuri is right. The most important thing we should do now is to rescue Mom immediately after the island is completely frozen. Mom must not get into trouble. As for the Bankei pirates, let Mom decide after we rescue her. But no matter what, the war between us and the Bankei pirates has begun. Perospero, the eldest son of the Charlotte family, spoke slowly. He didn't mind going after the Bankei pirates now, because there was a clear gap in strength between the two sides. And this gap is not because they are strong as the four emperors pirates, but they are the weaker party. If they chased them now, Perospero felt that all of them were going to form a group to give their heads, and there was no other purpose. Damn Chen Tian, damn Bankei pirates, we must completely destroy them after we rescue Mom. Charlotte Owen punched the deck in anger at this time. I didn't expect that a pirate who had just entered the new world would make their Big Mom pirates lose so much face. However, no matter how they cursed, it could not affect Chen Tian and the Bankei pirates. On the contrary, the news that Chen Tian led the Bankei pirates to go to war with the Big Mom pirates in Bankei quickly spread throughout the world. Morgans, who made his fortune by news at the time, was present. If he didn't spread the news, it would be a miracle. After this news spread, many people felt that Chen Tian had completely established the title of the 5th Pirate Emperor of the New World. After all, being able to go to war with Big Mom in Bankei and finally get out of the war unscathed, it can fully show that the Bankei pirates have the strength of no less than the 4 emperors. In addition, this time the news is very comprehensive, whether it is Chen Tian who went head to head with Big Mom, or Might Guy who dealt with several high-end combat forces of the Charlotte family alone, or Kakashi who fought against Katakuri without losing, or Tsunade who beat Cracker, as well as Jiraiya, or Ichimaru, Minato, Kushina and others. Their reputations have spread. It is estimated that it will not be long before the Navy headquarters will place a high bounty on these people. The most terrifying one is Chen Tian. Although Morgans did not see the scene of the last move, he could still see the scene where Cake Island was completely frozen after being burned by the cold spirit bone fire. This kind of strength may not be able to be expressed, but you have to know that Big Mom was on Cake Island at that time. But in the end, Chen Tian left leisurely, and Big Mom disappeared. The result can be imagined. So now many people believe that if Chen Tian's Wanji pirates burst out with all their strength, they will not be weaker than any of the 4 emperors pirates. Dad, the Swanji pirates is getting more and more powerful. I don't even know where this guy called Chen Tian found such a group of strong people. Everyone was unknown on the sea before, and once they appeared, they showed their powerful strength. Marco stood beside the world's strongest man Whitebird at this time, and said solemnly, indeed, from this point of view, the Wanji pirates are really too strange. If it was just 1 or 2, it would still be acceptable. In the original work, didn't the Navy recruit 2 admirals, Fugitora and Green Bull, at once? But judging from the current situation, except for Robin, all the others in the Bankei pirates had no reputation at all on the sea. Even people like Kyokyui were also unknown at the beginning. But how could such people be hidden? especially Jiraiya, Tsunade, or Orochimaru, Minato and Kushina. Their strengths are extraordinary. It seems that these strong men did not exist at all before joining the Bankai pirates. Isn't this a bit too weird? Killer lalala. There are so many wonders on this sea. It is precisely because of its magic that countless heroes have gone out to sea one after another. How many powerful people are hidden on the sea? No one can tell clearly. After Whitebird took a sip of wine, he slowly said, "But you don't have to care about how powerful others are, as long as you make sure you are strong enough. This sudden appearance of the 10,000 Worlds Pirates is extraordinary, but, Marco, don't forget. I'm Whitebird, killer lalala." Ah. That's right, in this sea, Dad is the most powerful. We are the Whitebird Pirates. Marco's frowning brows relaxed at this time, and then he smiled and spoke. The 10,000 Worlds Pirates can compete with the Big Mom Pirates, but they are definitely not the opponents of their Whitebird Pirates. After all, Dad is the most powerful man in the world. There is no doubt about this, and no one can surpass him. Chapter 220 Harvest. The Beasts Pirates. Governor Kado. News. The latest news. Something big has happened. In a cave, a fat man with two golden beards on his mouth and a golden ponytail on the back of his head walked in quickly and said to the burly man who was sitting in the cave and drinking, "The Bank of the World's pirates that entered the New World before started a war with Big Mom at Big Mom's tea party. In the end, Chen Tian directly froze the entire Cake Island, and the Bank of the World's pirates escaped unscathed." Was that Charlotte Linlin guy defeated? Kado twisted his eyes slightly and then said in a deep voice, "It's unlikely. That guy must have been careless or had a disease or something. It's not so easy to defeat him. But the Bank of the World's pirates are quite interesting. They are just a newcomer who has just entered the new world. Ha 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 ha. It's ridiculous. They were defeated by such a newcomer. Charlotte Linlin is too shameless. Governor, from the intelligence, I can see that the captain of the Bank of the World's pirates, Chen Tian, can at least tie with Charlotte Linlin. He and Big Mom are evenly matched, so his strength should not be weak." The fat man, Plague Queen, one of the three big names of the Beasts Pirates, continued. "That's only temporary. There are still people who can compete with Lingling in a short period of time, but there is one thing that I'm a little concerned about." Kado put down the wine gourd in his hand, then grinned and said, "Those little guys are called the 10,000 Worlds Pirates, right? Do they want to be as famous as my 100 Beasts Pirates? Maybe." Quinn didn't know how to answer this question, so he could only guess. Maybe there is such a reason. Okay, no matter what, I don't have much interest in those little guys. Since it's Lingling's trouble, let Lingling solve it herself. As long as they don't provoke me, everything is fine. But if they provoke me..." A fierce light flashed in the eyes of 100 Beasts Kado, and his tone became cold. "You should know what to do without the teacher saying more, right?" Although Quinn didn't answer directly, he obviously understood Kado's meaning from his expression. 10,000 Worlds Island, the back garden of the Chen Tian family, is a huge plain. It already existed here. Because the scenery here is quite nice, Chen Tian had it preserved when he built the house. It is obviously a good choice to bask in the sun and look at the endless plains when you have nothing to do. Brother Chen Tian. At this time, Robin came over with a box in his arms, put it beside Chen Tian, and then reported softly, "The three surrounding islands have been occupied by us. Now the three islands are guarded by Jiraiya, Minato and Kakashi, and here are the devil fruits found when we occupied the islands. There are 3 in total." Seeing Chen Tian still lying there leisurely, Robin continued to shoot. "After letting Jiraiya and others guard the surrounding islands, the defense of our Bankai pirates will be a little weak." There was some worry in Robin's eyes. After all, they have already started a war with the Big Mom pirates. If the defense on the Bankai Island is weak, it is likely to be targeted by the other side. And even if they are not targeted by the Big Mom pirates, the Navy now hates them to the bone and will definitely destroy them if they have the chance. Even if none of this happened, with the current reputation of the Bankai pirates, there are many pirates who want to step on the Bankai pirates to become famous. Although most of them are weak, there are more or less some powerful ones. With Chen Tian, the strongest combat force, Bankai Island will not have too many problems, but for Robin and others, the captain has to do everything himself, so their existence is meaningless. Naturally, there was no such feeling before. After all, they were just a small group of 5 or 6 people on a ship, not an organization at all. But now that the Bankai pirates have been established, and with the addition of Minato, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Orochimaru and others, they have officially become an organization. Robin still understands that there is no order without rules. Don't worry, the 3 islands are not far from our Bankai Island. Even if something happens, they can rush back, and our strength will become stronger and stronger, right? Looking at Robin's slightly worried eyes, Chen Tian shook his head with a smile, and explained to him. In the previous battle on Cake Island, although he did not actually kill anyone, many people died in the aftermath of the battle between him and Big Mom. All of these people turned into his points. Although these points are not many, it is still no problem to draw 2 low-level draws. With these points, his strength will become stronger and stronger, and the 3 devil fruits that Robin just brought, plus the ones they collected themselves, can definitely attract 2 more people from the Naruto world. Chapter 221 Declaration of War. In the blink of an eye, several days passed. With Chen Tian here, the defense of the Wanji Island is very strong, and almost no one dares to come here to make trouble. The previous points have been used by him for lottery. Although he didn't get anything good, he upgraded all his 3-color domineering to a higher level. Now Chen Tian really dares to say that his strength is not weaker than any of the 4 emperors. As for the other 3 islands, they are still in charge of Jiraiya, Minato and Kakashi. The 3 of them are very strong and smart, and there is also a thick-browed might guy who can coordinate and support at any time, so there will be no problems. Especially my guy is still a ninja. He can run on the sea, and when supporting and coordinating, he doesn't even need the help of ships. And because of what happened on Cake Island before, many pirates came to join the Wanji pirates. Chen Tian was too lazy to care about these things, and handed them over to Robin and others, and took in all the ones he could see. These people are just used to strengthen the grassroots forces of the Wanji pirates, which can be regarded as making up for their shortcomings. So, if we count them now, there are hundreds of people in the Bankai pirates. But most of them are under Jiraiya and Minato, because these 2 people have very good brains, and know how to take care of these things. And with these people, they can also free up their hands and feet, and they don't have to do everything themselves. Chen Tian originally planned to give some people to Tsunade. After all, Tsunade was also a Hokage. Unfortunately, Tsunade was too lazy to care about these, and directly rejected Chen Tian. Now she hangs around on Bankai Island every day, gambles when there is something to do, and drinks when there is nothing to do. She lives much happier than Chen Tian. The next largest number of people are Kakashi and Might Guy, but Might Guy directly threw all his people to Kakashi, and asked him to see them off, and manage them together. The smallest number of people are Kushina, Kyoshi, Robin and others. After all, these are girls, and their requirements are to join their subordinates, and they must also be women. But these days, most pirates are still men. How many women can there be? So naturally, they have the least number of subordinates. Didn't you see the group of freaks in the Charlotte family? Even among these freaks, there are far fewer females than males. As for Chen Tian, he now stays on the plane in the backyard every now and then. Kunoha, Minato, Kushina and others have been sent here by the system, and he is not in a hurry to go back. In this world, his strength cannot be said to be the strongest, but at least he is also a hegemon, so without the urgency in his heart, he began to completely let himself go. Every day in the backyard, he was affectionate with Kunoha, and flirted with Robin and Kinksu and others, and his life was also happy. Captain. Just when Chen Tian and Kunoha were leisurely looking at the scenery, Might Guy suddenly came over, but he just stood in the distance, and didn't dare to approach Chen Tian at all. Because he had something to find Chen Tian, he interrupted the kiss between Chen Tian and Kunoha, and then was punched by Chen Tian, and flew directly from here into the sea. Now think about it, what a terrifying power that is. If Tsunade hadn't come in time, he would probably still be lying in bed. With the previous experience, Might Guy naturally didn't dare to rush in, like he did before. Who knows what Chen Tian and Yuhi Kyunei are doing now? Is there anything? Chen Tian raised his head and asked Might Guy slowly with a serious face. The Big Mom pirates have officially declared war on us. The 3 desert stars Katakuri, Cracker and Smoothie will attack the 3 islands around us respectively, and then the 4 emperors Big Mom will personally lead a group of people to attack our Bankei Island. She announced that this time we will be completely destroyed. Might Guy's face was solemn at this time. What he was most worried about was Bankei Island. Although Chen Tian's strength was very strong, Might Guy, who had participated in the Industrialization Association before, was also very clear about the strength of the 4 emperors Big Mom. Chen Tian absolutely took action at the beginning, but he couldn't take down that powerful enemy. Now the opponent is coming directly to Bankei Island, which can't be worried about him. With Chen Tian here, they will never die, but their base, the Bankei Island, is very likely to sink in the battle between the two. That old woman shouldn't be so irrational, rushing towards us openly. Isn't she worried that we will destroy her in the sea? There are many people with special abilities in the Charlotte family. Once they start fighting in the sea, they will be too restricted. Chen Tian was stunned for a moment, and then said with some doubts. In his opinion, unless the old woman Big Mom is mentally ill, she will never attack so openly. You must know that in their Bankei pirates, in addition to Jiraiya, Kakashi and Orochimaru can also use water escape. It is too easy to destroy their Big Mom pirates in the sea if they can control the sea water. Did Kakashi and the others give you any information? What actions did the other party take? Chen Tian asked. Not yet. It seems that when the war was declared, the other party did not make any movement. It should be like what the captain said. The other party is worried that we can control the seawater, so they have not taken any action for the time being. Might Guy thought about it and said, that's right. Although the old woman is a lunatic, she is not a fool. Knowing that we can control the seawater, the Big Mom pirates will not be able to make any moves in a short period of time. Even if they do, they will definitely not make it public. They should use sneak attacks or other attacks instead. Chapter 222 Fugitora smiles. After a short pause, Chen Tian slowly said, and I'm not worried that the other side will attack Bankei Island directly. Instead, I'm worried that they will gather a large number of troops to attack one of the other 3 islands, especially Kakashi's. Generally speaking, the island guarded by Kakashi is the weakest in our sphere of influence. Although Kakashi is powerful, he is more or less inferior to Jiraiya and Minato. For the island guarded by Minato, even if he can't beat the other side, Minato with the Flying Thunder God technique can retreat at any time. As for Jiraiya, the power of his ninjutsu has increased significantly after the Sage Mode is activated. Even if Big Mom goes there in person, it is impossible to leave Jiraiya behind. So in summary, only Kakashi's side is the weakest, and the island with the weakest means of survival. Orochimaru has been monitoring the other side. If the other side makes any movement, we can also respond in advance, Might Guy said. Chen Tian nodded. If Orochimaru is responsible for monitoring, the situation is indeed better. Then Chen Tian ordered, speed up the transaction with Doflamingo, and take out all the money, except the necessary funds to buy devil fruits. The number of the Wanji pirates is still too small. Since the Big Mom pirates have declared war on us, they will definitely take action. Before that, we have to arm ourselves to the teeth. This is no joke. After Chen Tian absorbs 5 devil fruits, the system will summon a familiar person from the Naruto world. If the absorbed devil fruits are enough, there will naturally be enough people. In this way, the strength of the Wanji pirates will naturally increase rapidly, so that they have the confidence to fight against the Big Mom pirates. In addition, Chen Tian is also working hard to strengthen his own strength. All the previous points have been used by him for lottery. His own strength has been greatly improved, and he can fight Big Mom head on at any time. Immortal Island is the name of the island guarded by the Toad Sage Jiraiya. It is said that it was not called this name before, but it was changed to this name because of Jiraiya's arrival. At this moment, Jiraiya was sitting on the beach, drinking with a middle-aged man. There were many pirates around, some of whom were Jiraiya's subordinates, and others were pirates who came to the Immortal Island to rest. Hahaha, you know what? Although people often say that drinking is harmful to the body, but I don't think so. For me, wine can cure all diseases. As long as we drink a glass together, we can know what kind of temperament the other person has. Jiraiya raised the wine glass in his hand, and then clinked glasses with the middle-aged blind man opposite him, and drank it all. At this time, the middle-aged blind man on the opposite side also laughed and said, "That's right, especially as a man on the sea, how can I not drink? Hahaha, when we meet next time, I will definitely bring the beautiful scenery of my hometown. That is a very impressive scenery. After drinking in so many places, I still think the wine in my hometown is the sweetest and most delicious." Jiraiya looked up at the sky, drank the wine in the cup again, and then said randomly, "By the way, this immortal still doesn't know who you are, even though you have been drinking for 2 days. Hahaha." The middle-aged blind man was also stunned. He only remembered now that he hadn't introduced himself yet, and he had been drinking with the other party here, and neither of them felt strange. "My name is Fujitora Ichisho, you can only call me that." After drinking the wine in the cup, Fujitora Ichisho said with a big laugh. His middle-aged man's appearance is really very similar to Jiraiya, but no one here knows him. That is, when the Navy destroys the white-bat pirates in a few years and conducts a large-scale recruitment, it is estimated that people all over the world will know him. One of the 3 future admirals of the Navy, Fujitora Ichisho. Although he is not well known now, his strength can stand at the top of this sea, but now he is sitting here drinking like an ordinary person. But then again, Jiraiya is also a well-known figure now. After the battle on Cake Island spread, the Navy also set a bounty of 2 billion baileys for him. Isn't he sitting here drinking now? Is Tengu Ichisho? It seems that I have heard of this name somewhere. Jiraiya thought about it for a while, but he didn't remember anything for the time being. He just filled the wine and said loudly, "Forget it, no matter if I have heard of it or not, just drink well now. You are a good guy. This immortal is very optimistic about you, and you are also very strong. You must be a very famous person, but here you are just my drinking buddy, hahaha." In fact, Jiraiya also forgot that Chen Tian said this. When Chen Tian was chatting with them earlier, he accidentally revealed the future big shots on the sea. Among them was Tengu Yixiro, one of the 3 admirals of the Navy, but Jiraiya just didn't remember it for a while. Chapter 223 Trouble. Chen Tian's residence on the Bankai Island. The Navy only has this little trick. They raised Jiraiya's bounty so high. Do they want us to have internal strife? Haha, I guess they never thought that there would be no internal strife in our Bankai pirates. Chen Tian looked at the latest bounty and said with a smile. His Bankai pirates were all summoned by the system. All of them were his relatives and friends before, not subordinates at all. So there would be absolutely no problem with the loyalty of these people, and there was no such thing as internal strife. And he himself didn't care about such a small matter as whether the bounty of his subordinates was higher than his. He was the captain of the Bankai pirates, not the kind of warrior who charged into battle head-on. What's wrong with a lower bounty? Anyway, he wouldn't care about such details. Besides, his bounty was not low, the same as Jiraiya's, 2 billion. What really needs to be worried about now is the movement of the Big Mom pirates. That old woman has never been the type to give up. Just like the African flat-headed brother, even if you look at him, he will stare at you and bite off a piece of meat. As for other forces in the new world, there is no special movement. After all, as far as the current situation is concerned, ordinary forces dare not provoke their Wanji pirates, because they are strong enough. Robin, what's going on recently? Chen Tian sat on the pool in his family yard and said softly. After he finished speaking, Robin slowly walked over, shook his head and said, "There is nothing special. It's just that someone went to Jiraiya's place before. I thought he was an enemy, but in the end he just drank with Jiraiya. Now it seems that the two get along very well. Oh, people who can drink with Jiraiya are not ordinary. Although Jiraiya looks friendly and has no airs, he also has the pride of a strong man, and he also represents the face of our Wanji pirates. Those who can reconcile with him must reach a certain level of tolerance and strength." Chen Tian was slightly stunned and then chuckled. He knows Jiraiya's character very well. After all, they have not been together for a short time. Although Jiraiya seems to be friendly and kind on the surface, he also has his own pride of being a strong man in his heart. If he is drinking and chatting with an ordinary person, he can do it, but when he represents the face of the Wanji pirates, Jiraiya will never do such a thing with his character. But now that he has done it, it means that the other party is strong enough to compete with Jiraiya. Even if he is weak, he will not be weak. That person called himself Fujitora Ichisho. Later, I went to check the relevant information. If I'm not wrong, he is a person wandering on the sea. Because of some things, he became a blind man and loved gambling. He doesn't have many friends. It's just a coincidence that he came to the fairy island. So Jiraiya didn't report it for the time being. After Robin finished speaking, he slowly left. He still had things to do. But Chen Tian smiled and shook his head when he heard the words just now. Tengu Ichisho, although he is not famous yet, his strength is really good. Especially when he saw him draw his sword lightly, a meteorite fell from the sky. It was really handsome. And this person has his own sense of justice and is a good person. But he should have left now, and we may not be able to catch up with him. Besides, the Wanji pirates don't lack this combat power, so there is no need. Besides, even if we catch up with Tengu Yixio's personality, he will not join the pirates. At this time, Kingsu came in from outside, holding a pile of documents in her hand, and said to Chen Tian, "Brother Chen Tian, here are the conditions and governance plans of Wanji Island and the other 3 islands during this period. After all, it is not only our outside pirates who live on these islands, but also the indigenous people here. Now we, as managers and rulers, also need to take corresponding measures." This is not the first time that Kingsu came over with a pile of documents, but Kingsu, in addition to our Wanji pirates, there are also those indigenous people in the places we rule. So don't discuss this matter with me, just find a few indigenous people to deal with it. Chen Tian didn't plan to read the documents at all. Anyway, he would find it troublesome to read them. At most, he would decide on the general direction. The details should be left to others to deal with. But what he said was true. They should just be responsible for fighting and other things. It is better to let the capable people among the indigenous people to govern the people. Otherwise, if people like Minato were to govern the island, wouldn't it be a waste of their powerful strength? Chen Tian would never do such a stupid thing. Just like in the previous Naruto world, except for making various suggestions, Minato was responsible for everything else. Now it is right to let these indigenous people be responsible for it. I know, brother Chen Tian. Kingsu nodded, and then continued, there is another thing. In the new world, the people of the Big Mom pirates have some friction with us on the sea, but both sides don't seem to have any intention of taking it seriously. They are just testing. None of the other side's desert stars appeared, only Charlotte Dayfuck brought people to provoke. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224, The Aunt Who Suddenly Appeared. Charlotte Dayfuku? His strength is average, so just leave him alone. Jiraiya has no interest in playing such a small fight. By the way, Chen Tian turned around and asked, are they making trouble near which island? It's the island where Minato is, but Minato ignored him and let the pirates deal with it themselves. Judging from the current situation, the two sides are just making small fights and will not really fight. Robin told the information in detail and then continued with his guess, but I suspect that Big Mom did this just to attract the attention of brother Minato. The real purpose is to come and attack our Bankei Island in the future. If you want to catch a thief, you must capture the king first. Don't worry about that. If they really want to do this, my strength is enough to match Big Mom. Boom. Before Chen Tian finished speaking, a deafening noise was heard directly by everyone. Then Kingsu ran over in a hurry, panting and saying, brother Chen Tian, Big Mom led the pirate group and suddenly appeared near our port. They came from underwater. Kingsu immediately told everything. She was very surprised about this matter. She never thought that the Big Mom pirates would come in this way, and they appeared directly on the Wanji Island. But it was not Kingsu's fault, because when they entered the new world, they did not coat the ship, so it was normal that they did not think of it for a while. At this time, Chen Tian frowned and said coldly, after coating, they rushed directly from the bottom of the sea. It's really a lot of trouble to sneak attack. At this time, Big Mom's sharp and piercing roar suddenly broke out, spreading directly throughout the Wanji Island and into everyone's ears. Chen Tian, get out of here quickly. Otherwise, I will destroy this island immediately. Big Mom suddenly appeared at the port of Wanji Island, which scared everyone on Wanji Island. Especially after that roar that resounded through the sky. The thundercloud Zeus beside Big Mom also began to grow larger and larger. Between the lightning and thunder, the huge pressure completely enveloped the entire island. Chen Tian is here, what should we do now? Robin's face was extremely gloomy at this time. She had always been worried that the other party would attack the Wanji Island, but she didn't expect that the other party's action would be so sudden and come so quickly. As far as the current situation is concerned, it would be too late to ask Minato, Jiraiya and Kakashi to support them. Now the only person who can support them is my guy, but it will take a long time. Dare to come to Wanji Island to make trouble, it's really looking for death. Chen Tian looked coldly in the direction of the port, and the whole person disappeared in an instant. Robin and Kinksu looked at each other and knew that Chen Tian had gone to the port. The two hurriedly followed. But the speed difference between them and Chen Tian was too big. Before they left Chen Tian's courtyard, Chen Tian had already arrived at the port. Chen Tian kid, you finally came out. Today I'm going to kill you. Seeing Chen Tian suddenly appear, Big Mom was furious, and her terrifying domineering aura burst out instantly. It was this kid in front of her who destroyed Cake Island and made her lose face. Now everyone in the world knows that she was defeated by a fledgling kid, and even the 10,000 kingdoms were destroyed. Thinking of this, Big Mom became even more angry. I say, Big Mom, at least I said hello to you in advance when I went to the tea party, right? Now you appear in the 10,000 Worlds Island without saying a word, which is very rude. Chen Tian was unmoved by Big Mom's intimidation, but grinned and said loudly, why are you here alone? Where are your ugly sons and daughters? There was a hint of sarcasm in Chen Tian's tone. He didn't take Big Mom, who was called the Four Emperors, seriously at all. With his current strength, let alone Big Mom, even if Whitebeard came in person, what could he do? Although he may not be able to beat the opponent, but like Kaido, he is immortal in this world. How can the extremely powerful 8-9 mysterious art in the prehistoric world be so simple? Although Chen Tian could not practice it at all after learning it, and even could not understand it, the system had allowed him to barely reach the entry level. With the entry level 8-9 mysterious art, Chen Tian's vitality is much stronger than Kaido. Kaido cannot be killed, so how can Chen Tian be killed? Chapter 225 Entering the Water. Chen Tian, I'll give you one last chance. Lead your Feng Wanji pirates to surrender to me now and swear to be loyal to me forever. I'll still give you the position of General Star I promised you before. At this point, Big Mom's face suddenly became ferocious, and she threatened, but if you dare to refuse, I will kill you today and destroy this island. That makes people angry. Surrender? There was no such option from the beginning. From the moment I received your threat, we have been fighting to the death. The reason why Cake Island was destroyed is because of your threat. Chen Tian sneered, and then a terrifying power emerged from his body. He said coldly, old woman, today is your death day. As soon as the voice fell, Chen Tian suddenly rushed forward and slashed at Big Mom. And with his knife, endless white flames flew everywhere and slowly turned into pure black with armed color domineering. Big Mom's body is so strong that it is difficult to cause any harm to her with just one knife. Although the addition of cold spirit bone fire and armament haki may not have much effect, it is better than nothing. Chen Tian himself did not hold much hope, because this was the last move he used on Cake Island. Although his armament haki has been upgraded from intermediate to advanced, it can be said that the power has increased greatly. But Big Mom is no longer the crazy look she was at the beginning. At least she will take the initiative to defend. So with this plus and minus, even Chen Tian did not think that this move would hurt Big Mom. At this time, Big Mom also reacted. After seeing Chen Tian attack her, all the anger that had been suppressed before broke out completely at this moment. The fist wrapped with a lot of flames and lightning directly blasted towards Chen Tian. Go to hell, you little devil. A sharp and piercing angry voice came from her mouth. This punch blasted Chen Tian's sword energy away with a crushing blow, and then went directly to Chen Tian's body. Armament haki, hardened the whole body. The moment Big Mom dispersed the sword energy, Chen Tian was already covered with armament haki. Behind him was the base of the Bankei pirates, Bankei Island. If Big Mom's punch landed, Bankei Island would probably sink. This kind of thing is absolutely not allowed, so Chen Tian could only choose to forcibly block Big Mom's fist. Fortunately, his body is also extremely strong. With the help of armament haki, he is not afraid of fighting with Big Mom head on. The only disgusting thing is that after his fist landed on Big Mom, the greasy fat made Chen Tian unacceptable. After the two of them quickly blasted dozens or hundreds of punches, Big Mom took a few steps back. But after unloading the force, the white flames around her body slowly extinguished, and Big Mom was completely unharmed except for a little ice chips. And Chen Tian, like Big Mom, did not suffer any injuries, and even did not lose a hair. So this situation is very uncomfortable. No matter how you hit, you can't break the opponent's defense. Such a battle is simply a meaningless battle. Chen Tian clenched his fists, and his face showed helplessness. At this moment, the sun Prometheus suddenly began to change, and then Big Mom's roar came out, fire in the sky. A huge pillar of fire fell from the sky and completely engulfed Chen Tian's body. Even the ground was burned black by the flames, and the temperature around began to rise slowly. In this case, I can only take you to the sea and then kill you. Chen Tian's voice came slowly from the flames, and the next moment, a figure flew over Big Mom's head. After being wrapped in flames, Chen Tian began to fly upwards with the dance technique under the cover of the hokage. After flying nearly 10,000 meters high, Chen Tian turned around and used the gravity of the earth to fully promote the dance technique, instantly increasing the speed to the limit. Adding the two together, Chen Tian's current speed has far exceeded the speed of sound. Have you heard? That speed is power. The moment he came to Big Mom's side, Chen Tian plagiarized Kizaru's wise saying. After finding the right direction and angle, he rammed Big Mom hard. Boom. For a moment, the entire Wanji Island shook, and some people's ears began to bleed. The huge roar damaged their eardrums, and they covered their ears with ferocious faces. Under Chen Tian's collision, Big Mom had already entered the depths of the sea with Chen Tian, and was still going deeper. Chen Tian's strength was not weaker than Big Mom's. With the inertia brought by the sky dance technique and the blessing brought by gravity, he took Big Mom to the bottom of the sea smoothly. Big Mom is a devil fruit ability user. She can run rampant on the ground, but she is a piece of meat on the chopping board when she enters the seabed. Boom. Chen Tian and Big Mom didn't stop until they knocked a big hole in the seabed. Shaking his head, Chen Tian moved away from Big Mom's huge body and tried to open his eyes. He secretly rejoiced in his heart. Fortunately, I have Big Mom as a cushion, otherwise I would be miserable. Then he looked at Big Mom and found that the originally ferocious Big Mom had begun to roll her eyes. Under the immersion of seawater, she lost all her strength and could not even move her little finger. If it weren't for her abnormal physical fitness, she would have been crushed to death by the water pressure. Looking at Big Mom's appearance, Chen Tian was vigilant and did not approach. With Big Mom's physical fitness, even if she fell into the sea, she should not be completely unable to move, right? But after looking carefully, he laughed out loud because he found that the big pit that Big Mom smashed was full of sea stone. You are so amazing. The sky wants you to die, and you just happened to fall on the sea stone mine and smashed into it. Chen Tian's eyes twitched a little, and he didn't know what to say. He began to doubt that he was the protagonist. Did he have great luck, so this situation happened? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.